You know, when I die, I want to be splashed with cum.
Just
no!
part of the funeral.
No!
Just fall into the casket, rub one out.
All right,
for the homie.
everybody. Trying to rub one out one last time.
My jorkers, my sprayers, and my prayers.
Stop!
Just reached Invincible, and it looks pretty bad. This scene is from season 1 where Battle Beast is going up against Mark, and he actually hits him with his mace, and then blood splurts everywhere. Well, in China, whenever they do censorship for blood or battle scenes, they typically just make the blood white instead. I don't know why they don't pick blue or some other color.
Right?
And
Any
Battle
other
Beast,
color,
the
bro.
Craved battle guy that he is, it sprays all over his face, and then he licks it up. But it looks so much worse when it's white. Oh, dear God. But the thing is, they do this kind of censorship all of the time. But a lot of times, you have to kind of put your mind in the gutter to make it seem dirty. But in this scene, you really don't have to, considering it sprays literally all over his face.
Yeah,
And for those
and
who
he
don't
smiles
believe
and licks
me,
it.
here are some other examples.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's that Vegeta one that I saw.
No!
The Zoro one's crazy. This one's crazy.
Now, just imagine how other scenes in
Yeah,
Invincible
that
are
one
going to
would look
with
crazy
this kind of
too,
censorship.
bro.
Let's be honest, the Invincible show as a whole has a lot of blood and gore, so a lot of this could look pretty interesting.
So part of me wonders if that's like half rebellious, right? Like if we can't show it as red, we're gonna show it as white, which is worse.
Yes.
Like, you just can't let it be red. All right, motherfucker. It does feel like malicious compliance, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh man, but I would love to know. I would love to see the people that fight for this kind of censorship in China seeing this kind of scene.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine, like, if blood is this big of a problem, they're gonna take super well to like possible seminal fluid.
The cum potential.
The cum potential. Oh my fucking Lord. He looks so happy. He looks so content.
He really does. He's at peace.
He is at peace.
You know, when I die, I want to be splashed with cum.
Just part
no!
of the funeral.
No!
Just fall into the casket, rub one out.
All right,
for the homie.
everybody. Trying to rub one out one last time.
My jorkers, my sprayers, and my prayers.
Stop!
Brings another meaning to pouring one out for the pouring one out.
Pour one out for the homie.
Rubbing one out for the homie. Oh shit!
I'm not gonna have him wire my jaw shut.
Or
You're gonna have them sew the tip of your tongue to your chin, just so that.
or have like a scoreboard or some shit.
Oh, one final bukkake for the afterlife.
One final round. I want to take my boys with me.
You'll be the leader of a couple billion children.
Or Bullseye's 100 points.
You want to know what's fucked up? I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel it in my bones that absolutely someone has done this.
Oh.
And what scares me more is it was either at their behest or they forced this upon a dead body, and I'm not certain which one I fear for more.
No.
Oh, speaking of fearing for dead bodies,
There's a whole culture of honoring the deceased in this way.
is this killing a couple trillion birds with one stone?
Oh my gosh.
What the
So as you know, I'm in a couple different like Flex and DoorDash subreddits and Facebook groups and whatnot, and so every once in a while I'll like get something on my phone that like intrigues me, and this was interesting. And I don't know what.
there's obviously there was the first possibility that we all thought about. My immediate one is this is somebody with an addiction.
Yeah.
This is a shopping addiction.
Either that or
possibly hoarding, possibly shopping addiction.
Possibly, yeah.
Well, it sort of looks like maybe they're all open and they just put the trash out beside
That
the
doesn't
door.
make it that much better for me.
no.
Well, yeah, but it, because like you see this and you're like, is it just piling up or?
I think
I'm fairly certain this is all being thrown out here. Like, I think these are open.
They look pretty open. I mean, it's very entertaining to think about like packages getting sent to the wrong house,
Right.
and they're just like piling up outside, like
This
in some
person
sort of like
is dead.
Or this
Catch
is
22s, like
this is just one order.
Oh,
Right. Dude.
God, how much would this even be? Holy fuck.
But I didn't actually notice in the second picture, the far right of the picture, I think that's the trash, the bin.
Yeah, that's the trash bin.
Like,
I mean, this is
like, is that where, like, I don't know, because I'm trying to think, like, where does this person take the trash out to for the garbage can to, or the truck to, like, pick it up? And, like, I don't know, because sometimes you put, like cardboard and stuff next to the trash can.
right.
And then the recycled truck or whenever that comes will come and pick it up. Or you would put it in one of the recycling, bins if you have one. But like, obvious, either they're purposely choosing not to do that because if the truck doesn't come up to where that bin is, then they are actually bringing the bin up to the driveway, but purposely not doing
fairness,
that with everything else.
This is assuming that trash is making it to this bin. Like,
Yeah, it's
we
true.
can't technically say that
True.
they're doing anything with this bin.
Yeah.
Yeah, ooh, Jesus. Yeah, a lot of these look open, so it's like they're just throwing it out. So to me, it feels like hoarding behavior of like, best case scenario is this is a person that's like, we could probably use these boxes when we move. And that's just kind of gotten out of hand.
But then it's like, why would you leave them outside though, where they could get all wet with weather and get
Don't
damaged
have space on
and
the
stuff?
inside.
Right? There's no space on the inside, yeah. I don't know. Like, a lot of people in the comments are saying, like, I wonder what the inside of this house looks like.
Well,
Yeah.
What if it's like the most spick and span, like clean freak inside interior?
You know what? Sometimes I get that. Sometimes you just got to take all the shit and throw it somewhere else. But usually after you do that, you would start to organize the shit. But the thing is with that method, that's way more meticulous than just putting all this stuff in a bin outside, like, because all this is just like cardboard recyclable shit, not like things you have to literally go through and sort. So I don't know, like my method of take everything, throw it on the bed or throw it on the floor and then sort through it later doesn't even apply here, because all this stuff is just either trash or recyclables that you would put all in a bin and have a truck take.
They're not even broken down.
They're not at all. Like, they're just sad. That's why I'm like, maybe it's the idea that they can reuse. Some of the stuff is like beat the fuck up.
Like, is that cords there?
Where?
Like, if you zoom in right where your cursor is, like that box, are those cords?
I see it. Yeah, it might
It's like
be
rope.
I'm kind of
fucking Reddit. God damn it!
You're fucking kidding
Let
me.
me
There's
equalize
no way.
that for you.
There's
I
no
don't
way.
want that.
It's like fill
fucking
screen.
Yeah, those are cords. I fucking hate it. I hate it so much.
Oh,
I say Reddit. I'm fairly certain it's the WebP container that does that automatically, but I'm not 100% certain about that.
That would piss me off so fucking much.
It's like, I go to zoom in and it's like, hey, no, you just want all the elements around it zoomed in, right? We'll put this right back. Fuck off.
You didn't want to get closer, right? You just wanted it to be bigger.
Yeah. Do you have any like crazy stories? Because you've been doing this for almost a year, a little over.
yeah. I mean,
about a year-ish, yeah.
so there is this one thing that happened with flexing not too long ago, actually. My account got suspended for a second.
Oh.
Because apparently I violated terms of service and entered a customer's home during a delivery. And
Did you do this?
so no, but
Okay.
also maybe. So, so basically, I found out because I logged into my Flex account one day and it said, "Oh, something's wrong with your account. Go to your email." I went to my email and it said that, and I was like, "Well, what the fuck?" And then I thought back to it, and I was like, "You know what? I can see where this could maybe be a thing, but at the same time, the customer kind of told me to come in." And so what happened was on that route, it's out in the middle of nowhere, kind of like farmlands. Was it far south? I think far south somewhere. And you know, when you're going to deliver something, when you're on your way, it, you know, obviously gives you the GPS, the app tells you where to go. And as you approach, the notes pop up and tell you, like, if the customer has something specific that they want you to deliver, right?
Deliver to this specific door. Here's the door code.
Right, right, exactly. And they would either have like notes and or like the, you know, little key icon, which is like the access key, if there is one, for whatever location you're going to. Well, the customer gave me an access key, like, you know, a key to get into somewhere, and then told me what door to go to, right?
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay, well, obviously this person wants me to go into this place and drop off their package in whatever this place is. It happens a lot. A lot of customers have, like, you know, extensions of their house and like not overhangs, but, you know, like kind of like sunrooms or exactly. And it's like they would want me to put in the code and deliver stuff in there. I get it. I do that a lot. And I was like, okay, this is another one of those times. And so when I get there to the house, sure enough, right where the app is telling me to go, there is a keypad on the door. And so it kind of looks like it's open, but I don't want to like push it open.
Right.
I want to just like put in the code just in case. I put in the code and then it goes through and then I open it. And then it looks just like a regular mudroom kind of. And so I'm like, okay, well, this is obviously where they want me to put it. But then I checked the notes and it said it actually delivered to a person. And so I'm like,
did that update, or did you just not read it the first time?
So I didn't read it the first time, right? But again, they gave me the code, right? So I'm like, okay, they want me to come into the mudroom, right? So at least there's that. And then it said deliver to a person. So I'm like, okay, so they want me to come into the mudroom and then like have someone come to the door of the mudroom from the house to take the package. I was like, okay, I guess, sure, I get that.
Just to make sure, the notes here were key code for the mudroom. Yeah, and then it just says deliver to person, or was it like
deliver to customer name?
If not, go
member,
to
household member, customer, whatever. Like they give you options depending on what the customer wants. Most of the time, it's just deliver to front door. Okay. Every once, which is why I default to that typically, and I don't really think about it.
I ain't trying to walk in nobody's house anyway.
Right. But sometimes it's the customer sets it to be like deliver to customer or household member.
But I'm just saying, like, by the way the instructions are written, it was basically go into the mudroom, knock on the door, and then someone should come out and give you the package.
Yes.
That would be a reasonable assumption to make.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm already in the mudroom. They want me to deliver to a person. Cool. And I see these big double doors that I can only assume goes into the house. And I can hear on the other end of the double doors like a TV going on. So I'm like, okay, they're chilling, watching TV, whatever. So I knock, and then I hear someone say, oh, I'll get it. And I'm like, okay. They come to the door. It's this kid. He's probably mid-teens, you know, like 17, maybe 16. Okay. Comes to the door. He kind of looks a little surprised to see me for some reason. But I'm like, yeah, delivery for, and it wasn't him. It was like his mom or something. And he was like, oh, yeah. And so I said, okay, I need a name for the household member. And he's like, oh, I'm so-and-so. I think his name was like Jesse or something.
Let's not say his name.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of Jessies out there.
There are.
I could be lying. It could not be Jesse.
It could not be.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but like Jesse or something.
Social security number was.
Right. So I put that in. He signs because you have to. Then it goes to like a sign. He signs on the phone or whatever, and then hit OK. And then I give him the package. Cool. And then I walk out of the keypad door. There's a security camera there, so I kind of look at it for a second, and then I go off. Right. Shoot at the. And so I continue the route, right? And that was, I think, the problem there, because there was nothing else I did that maybe could have even warranted.
Wait, they didn't even give you a reason as to why you got suspended?
No. They just said you just got suspended because you're under investigation. Your account is under investigation for violating the terms of service because you entered a customer's home during a delivery. So basically, they suspended my account for like 7 days while that was under investigation. I wasn't happy though because I didn't know exactly what delivery that was. I only assumed, and they didn't say, tell us your side of the story or nothing. It was just like, we're going to look into what the customer says and get back to you. So I'm like, well, how would you know my side of the story? The customer could be saying bullshit. And then you could just fire me because of something the customer said that might be bullshit. So I called, and then they said to email support. So I emailed support my whole side of the story. And I was like, look, if the customer doesn't want people coming into their house or even the mudroom, don't give drivers the code to get into the mudroom, because they're gonna assume that's where you want them to put your stuff. So delete that shit from the access code section. Don't tell people, right? And if you don't want them coming in after that and giving it to someone in there, don't tell them to give it to a household member. Tell them to drop it off outside of that door where you have a security camera there and can see the package just chilling there. In the middle of nowhere. You got nothing to worry about. You're literally in butt shit nowhere. Okay. I didn't say any of that like that, but I was annoyed because it's this shouldn't be a problem, right? And so,
well, have you ever considered you might be darker skinned than they wanted their deliverer to be?
And that is the epitome of why I think I got reported. Because literally farmland, middle of nowhere, you know what signs are up in the middle of nowhere on farmland. You know what usually the kind of people that stay out there. I'm like, I can see how people probably
real proud of their Southern heritage, even though no one in their family for the last 5 generations have stepped a foot in fucking South of goddamn Indiana. But
maybe they just didn't like the way I looked at that security camera, because I looked at it for a second even before I went in, but then I typed the code and went in. So it's maybe they thought I was being shady, or I don't know.
Right. What Formz is neglecting to tell us is that when he looked at the camera, he flipped it off. He flipped it off both times, whipped his dick out in a helicopter, and then walked away.
I peed a little on their package,
Peed a little on the package.
He said, "I own this now. This
I
is
own
mine."
this. Thank you. Bye. Oh, no, that's fucking dumb.
Yes,
that's really stupid.
So,
is there anything in Amazon? So when you sign up for Flex, is there anything in the Amazon terms of service that says is just as a policy we don't enter into dwellings? Is that a thing with Amazon? Or
I mean, there is. I haven't read word for word the typical policy. They have little videos that they have everybody watch before you really start anything. And in it, sure, there is something somewhere that says you typically do not want to go into customers' houses, which I get.
Yeah, that's
right. It's even if the customer says come into my house, I probably would not be comfortable going into that house.
Right.
But the thing is I wouldn't consider this mudroom part of the house. So I'm like
a screened in front porch or
which might be why they had to do the investigation and why you ultimately got unsuspended.
Right.
Which I have to think. Part of me is wondering if I know you said the kid looked surprised to see you, but part of me is wondering if that kid was ordering something off his parents' account and they're just kind of upset. It just trying to complain about trying to get back at Amazon in any way, and they just went with the easiest route they could, which was just to complain about the order. But that wouldn't make a lot of sense because that means he'd have to have access to the I don't know. I have nothing. I legit have nothing.
Yeah.
That just seems like a shitty situation to be in.
Yeah, it's dumb. So I mean, it's I don't know. There's just a lot where it's sure, maybe I probably could have handled it a little better somehow, but every time I think back on it, I'm like, no, maybe I should not have just assumed that they wanted me to use the code to get in there. But it's why else would you give me a code?
Did you put the code in here?
So
and it makes more.
There wasn't a doorbell on the keypad door.
No, not that, because there was a front door, But that wasn't the door that they wanted me to deliver to, right? That wasn't like the front door. The front door was on like another part of the house.
Mhm.
That was like a side door. But it's like that was seemingly the only door with a keypad. It was the one door that was pinned on the GPS to deliver to. So I was like, well, that's got to be
What was the package
door.
like? Was it like something big, small? It looked like it might be expensive. Like
it wasn't tiny. It was probably about like
yay big.
like that, yeah.
Mhm.
So it wasn't crazy.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think I know where you're going with the line.
It might not even be that. I think the kid just ordered something and the parents are like, how dare Amazon let our kid be a fuckwad? Like, how can we make this somebody else's fault instead of punishing the kid for, I don't know. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. That's like the only thing I can think of because it makes no fucking sense to put in the instructions how to get into the mudroom. And then, because Amazon can't just know this, someone had to report that. It had to be the people to report it, right? Like,
yeah, they had to have. And that's why I'm like, I wonder what their line of thought
or
was.
you should really take a look over those fucking vests because you might be bugged, bro.
Bruh. No, I want to know what the line of thinking was when they maybe looked back on the video footage, like from the security camera or whatever. Was it like, why is he getting in here? Because what if they don't know that the code is like in there? Like, how do you know the code? Just some random Amazon person just knows your code. Like, how the fuck? Like,
How the hell did he know that code?
he can't get in.
Yeah, that's like all I can think about is somehow the parents just didn't know. Or like the mom ordered something and the dad didn't know she ordered and he panicked because this nigger is walking in his house. Like,
and knows the code? How many niggas be coming up in here, bro?
How many? My son is home. My wife may or may not be there. We don't know, I guess. That's shitty. That was back when I was doing Shipped. The amount of people that were like especially back in like the church I used to go to, they were like, yeah, you don't deliver anywhere south of 76, okay? And I was like, trust me, I've done it once. I'm never doing it again. That was get out before get out. Like, stuff like that felt like. I was like, too far, not enough pay. No thanks.
That's fair. I mean, that's the one downside to Flex is that you don't know where you're going until you get your cart full of boxes and you scan the code. And at that point, you're stuck with what you get.
Whatever you get, you got, and you got to go do it.
Yep. But again, overall, it's been a pretty good experience with Flex. So I enjoyed a little bit more than door dashing, if only because you're not trying to race around. But you have the potential to make way more money dashing if you hit the tips add up, if you hit the right times, if you hit the right promo sections, if there could be promos running. Like, the potential to earn more is there with DoorDash, but with Flex, you know exactly what you're getting paid for the block. You don't have to hurry around too much. It's kind of a little, laid back, more laid back, I would say.
Can you get multiple blocks in a day?
Yes, but it's kind of hard because I think the app knows. It's like, okay, you accepted a block for today, we're gonna show you way less blocks for today because you already accepted one. Now if you're okay with doing like in the middle of the night blocks, they'll send you those.
Shit, I'd be down for that.
But of course that comes with its own risks. But if
get a clock.
yeah, if you're cool with that, but apparently people have talked about people like pulling weapons on them in the middle of the night and shit. So,
fair enough. Fair enough.
It's at your own risk. But hey,
at your own risk.
They pay. I hear they pay pretty good because of that middle of the night.
I mean, I used to do ship orders like. I would do some stuff as late as like midnight, 1 p.m. 1 a.m.
That is like that.
That's like a late
I
shit.
would take my lunch and do shit.
Yeah.
I would work during lunch.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy.
Well, Shipped is. I don't know if you're joking by the fact that I said 1 p.m. or if you're okay. I'm about to say Shipped is a little longer than a 1 hour break.
Yeah.
But it would be kind of sick if you could.
I mean, I was dashing late until like 3 for a while, 3 a.m. for a while just because, promos were good.
Meyer's not open 24 hours anymore.
Which is some bullshit.
That is bullshit. Take off the 24-hour sign, Meyer, if you're not open 24 hours.
Right.
There's a gas leak.
It's just my quiet cry.
Yeah. Oh, the world of flex delivery and
Oh,
the bullshit. I might be
outside
entering
is
that world
frightful.
soon.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Sorry.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of another world to enter in soon, one of the designers for Boomerang Fu has put out his own game.
Hell yeah. It looks really interesting, like kind of keeping with the similar style of Boomerang Fu, which is nice, but some interesting mini game mechanics and everything.
Oh. Okay. I wonder if he got the same sound designer or music composer to do music for this.
Could be.
Because it's different, but it has elements of what made Boomerang Fu's music so good.
Mm-hmm. Definitely sounds a little bit like it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they're all kind of like in a group together or something where they kind of...
How big was the Boomerang Fu development team, do you know?
It was one person.
That would be really fucking
Well, honestly, though, back when they were showing their stuff off at GDC, it seemed like it was only like one, maybe two people there. It wasn't like the whole team. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
But that
When
was
you
back.
say they were at GDC, were they like at the GDC Expo Hall? Or were they at one of like the parties?
No, they were like on the floor
They were
at the
displaying.
expo. That's where I first discovered them with a couple other members of the program who were there at the time.
Oh,
So that's where we first discovered them, and ever since then, I'm in their Discord. The main guy, who I think is the person that we saw there, Paul, who's runs a lot of their social media.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Yeah, he's cool.
Hi, I'm Paul.
But yeah, it seems like this is one of the designers. I don't know if it's like the main one or how many people exactly are on the team, but you can kind of tell this has a, Boomerang Fu-ish feel to it. So I can imagine the team is pretty small, but are constantly, kind of collabing with one another, which is really cool to see, honestly.
You know what credit page I was shocked by? Was the game? It was A Little to the Left.
I don't know that one.
Have you guys not played A Little to the Left?
I might have seen. Is that the Feng Shui? No,
It's not quite feng shui. I would say more like Satisfaction.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah,
This is what I'm thinking.
it's great. It's such a fun little game. I got it in the mobile store because I've seen a couple people playing it. And I played it. It was really, really fun. I don't know if they have a credit page on their Steam. Their team was like over 25 people.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like it was people. I was like, what?
That's a small company. Well, I say a small company. Realizing a small company already has a connotation. That is it is a small company. It's not quite a mid-size. That's bigger than you'd expect for indie game like this, I feel like.
It was.
Yeah.
But anyway, which way up, Galaxy Games?
Yeah, it looks fun, like a fun little family-friendly party game.
Yeah, and it's out now on the Nintendo Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Might have to pick that up.
Yeah.
And give that a shot.
Yeah.
Try it out.
Also on Steam. It is also on Steam. Probably try that out. Boomerang Fu was a fantastic time. I'm sure this one's pretty fucking good too.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's just a collection of mini games. I guess that is what it says. 12 inventive mini games known as Galaxy Games. I know they show off the gravity mechanic.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a main mechanic around. I'm assuming it is.
Seems to be one of the main parts of it, at least. But
yeah, we have to give that a shot. We'll probably come back and do a little bit of
There's
a
also
review.
a single player mode, but yeah.
Good stuff. It's exciting to see some of the cool stuff that some of these indie studios come up with, especially after they're like what you would think is like their magnum opus. To see them like kind of either disperse and create like smaller other things that could also blow up, or for them to be working on something even bigger
Right.
than what was originally thought to be that.
My main goal is to blow up. Like,
And act like I don't know nobody.
Oh shit. We got
my primary purpose.
there's a new Karate Kid happening?
Yeah, so
Jackie Chan, Ralph Macchio. What?
Yeah. So this why this is kind of big. So this is following the Karate Kid series called Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Which has been a thing for a while. I think there's like, I don't know how many seasons of it right now, but
It's actually a fun show too.
yeah, Michaela's been watching it for a while, and she got me in on the last couple seasons at least, like
I watched
watching
a
it.
bit of it. I think Joe had it on in one of the Discords at one point.
Mm-hmm.
It is honestly, it's campy, but it's fun.
Yeah,
Like it's actually the kind of campy you want it to be.
yeah, it's good. And for those who don't know, if you know about the original Karate Kid, it basically follows the original Karate Kid with Mr. Miyagi and I think his name is David or Danny? Dan, yeah.
Danielson.
He is now a grown-up, has a family, and is now, runs like a business.
Dojo business.
Yeah.
He runs a car
business,
dealership.
a car
Oh,
dealership.
okay,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they're trying
And-
to pull him in to become the.
And his old rival is running a studio, and shenanigans happen between their children. If I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
Exactly. Yeah. And
That's about all I know about it.
But now we have.
that's the
Karate-
premise, yeah.
Yeah, but now we have Karate Kid Legends, a movie following that.
So, well, here, watch
Let's
the
watch-
thing, and then I'll explain more a little bit,
Let's do
and
it.
kind of excitements and hopes, and we'll see what happens type of thing.
Beers.
You want to talk about it?
My mom wants us to leave everything behind.
Sometimes it is the only way to move forward.
Man, Jackie Chan looking old.
He is
Come to America.
New rules. New school. No fighting. You make any friends?
Yeah, I did. One.
What's his name?
Mia?
You study karate or something?
Kung Fu. Used to. I don't do any of that anymore.
Yeah, you're clearly over it.
Who's your friend?
Connor, don't start.
You really want to do this?
You can't step to guys like him. He wins the 5 boroughs every year. It's the biggest tournament in the city.
Gotta have a tournament.
Almost one question. Is it worth fighting for it or not?
So we're just supposed to let him fight. So that we can end up like his brother.
So that he does not end up like his brother. Lee means to me what you meant to Sensei Miyagi. I want Lee to learn Miyagi karate.
I'm sorry, Mr. Han. I wish I could help you.
You will.
I'm not coming to New York.
I will see you in the Big Apple.
No choice.
Sensei LaRusso.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
He said the thing.
You
He said
have a
the thing.
foundation of Kung Fu.
We're gonna
Roll
build
credits.
upon that with Karate.
Ancient way.
Miyagi way. There's 2 of them. Focus! This represents the history between the 2 families. 2 branches, 1 tree. This is why I came to train you. Remember what you're fighting for.
Just beating up kids.
You understand that? You'll be ready.
With other kids.
Right.
So now this is making me wonder, how did the Jaden Smith Karate Kid? Oh no.
So the meme of this now
Uh-huh.
is we didn't see anything about
Oh
Jaden Smith.
no.
The first comment.
I can't wait for the Jaden Smith cameo where he explains about the complexities of the socioeconomic conditions of the world. Oh shit.
Yeah. So there was another Karate Kid, and that was the one with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan. And the Jackie Chan character in this movie is the same one that trained Jaden Smith's character in that movie.
So he is the same guy.
He's the same guy.
Okay.
So it's like
Karate Kid universe going on. That's fucking insane.
This is the de facto Karate Kid like end game dealio. So at least that's what they're building this up to be. And
Where is Jaden Smith?
And that's what
We're gonna
everyone
find out.
wants to know. So there's suspicion that, you know, with, I don't know, different controversies that had happened with him over the past, I don't know, ever since he did that Karate Kid, whatever controversies that may be with him,
It's
his
really
family.
just, I was going to say, between his family and just like kind of the way he's been presenting himself to the world has been
It's possible
a little pompous and pretentious.
It's possible that they didn't ask him. It's also highly possible that they asked him and he said no. But the fact that his name wasn't listed as one of the 3 big names gives me pause.
I will say it's insane they posted this on fucking April Fool's Day. It's just
They did not.
They're just lucky this is number 2. They have one back in 2024. Because at first I was like, hold on a goddamn. We're recording this on April Fool's Day, by the way.
Yeah.
I fucking hate this day for YouTube.
It's
I
hard to
hate
take
being on
anything super serious.
Luckily, a lot of the YouTubers have chilled the fuck out and make it way more obvious that they're doing April Fool's jokes because it's the most annoying shit.
Mm-hmm.
I love it for comics. It's a great time. I'll go to some of my favorite websites, and just like one of the comics that I read a week ago had a little stupid face drawn at the end.
Nice.
And then that little stupid face is the cover art for every single comic. And it's so good. Their release, there's one site that I go to that does a yearly release of just like basically a YouTube poop version of a comic.
Yeah.
That they just like, it has a bunch of like shitty tropes thrown in like that make no fucking sense, and it's funny as hell. It's just it's a great time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a half second I thought this was like, there's no way they'd put this much effort into a fake trailer, right? Like,
yeah, no, like, and that's the thing. Yeah, no, this has been a thing that's been, building for a little bit well, I guess I don't know exactly how it plays in the series right now, but yeah, essentially this has been a movie that we've known about that was being in the works for a while. The fact that, it dropped on April Fool's is unfortunate, but it is legit.
Yeah. What up?
This the middle thing on the side. I was wondering if it was relevant or not.
Oh. Made huge sacrifice for Jackie Chan's return. Yeah, probably not.
Highly doubt it.
Oh, yeah. So
they almost clickbaited.
Oh, and that was a second trailer, I suppose. So this did drop earlier.
Just all the same scenes. May 30th? Is that what I just said?
Yeah.
So assumedly this year, May 30th.
Yeah, it's coming soon for sure.
Nice.
Like.
So why does this one just say coming soon? I wonder if it's getting pushed back.
I
wonder if it got pushed back.
It definitely could have.
They had to figure out a way to recast Jaden Smith.
Well, that is a thing, right? Like maybe they saw all the talk about like how much they wanted Jaden Smith or something, and maybe
certain people are saying they want Jaden Smith. I'm seeing people joke about it, but I'm not seeing any real like.
Oh, my favorite Karate Kid, Jaden Smith.
Wait.
It's definitely
just bullying the kid.
It's definitely more of a meme than it is people like actually saying, "Oh, I legit need Jaden Smith back in here." But wouldn't it just it would tie everything up in a nice bow to have him cameo somewhere, right?
Don't tell me she played Chun-Li.
In what?
Probably the old. Fuck off! She was Mulan. What?
Oh.
Is Agent Melinda and yada yada Shield. She was Chun-Li in the Street Fighter movie. His mom is Chun-Li being trained by Jackie Chan, and Tandler is.
Oh, I did not even know that.
It makes this comment. His mother is Ming Na Wen. His sensei is Jackie Chan, and his new teacher is the heir to Mr. Miyagi. This kid is getting a Mortal Kombat invite at the end of the movie.
Yes.
If we got, man, the
Holy
way Mortal
shit.
Kombat has been pulling in movie characters, it would be sick to get a Karate Kid character in.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This kid goes on to be Liu Kang.
Really cool.
Liu Kang after credits scene.
But that was going to be my other point. Like, if this is like the culmination of all the Karate Kids kind of coming together somewhat,
Yeah.
and like all of the different trainers and senseis are coming to train this one kid, this kid's
that kid's gonna have
he's gonna be a problem.
it's gonna suck for that one dude because all he is just really good at fighting. This kid's about to become a superhero.
Right.
This kid is actually about to become fucking deadly.
Right.
All right, you know what? I didn't think I cared that much, but kind of looking forward to this now. We'll see where this goes.
It could be pretty good. We'll see. You know, the writing could be terrible. It's possible.
It's possible.
But I mean, hey, we're going to see a lot of kids getting fucked up, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, it's now to see a teenager get put in this fucking place.
Mhm.
Beat down.
We got one
Fatality.
Fatality. And then we got some first looks at, and what is this called? Across the Spiderverse? Beyond the Spiderverse.
Beyond the Spiderverse.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see.
I saw this. I'm so pumped.
It does look really sick. We saw alternate reality Miles Morales as the Prowler.
Mm-hmm.
Some scenes I'm fairly certain we've seen multiple times before.
This I don't think we've seen. What did?
This I don't think we've seen before, but this looks like concept art. I'm assuming
It does. It looks like concept art Dreamscape ass.
Yeah, but these look really good.
That looks like a shot from the movie, which
Yeah.
is insane.
Like this movie has such a cool quality to it that these absolutely look like you would see these as. This is probably like this is absolutely probably a frame from the movie.
I was gonna say these could very well be still shots.
And even if this is concept art, the movie captures this so closely
Mhm.
that it's indistinguishable, which is insane to me. It's one of the
Yeah.
reasons why I love this trilogy so
The Spider-Verse
much.
movies, like artistically, I feel like art, like cinematic artistry. The Spider-Verse movies are the peak.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything has looked as good. Obviously, a lot of different criteria if you want to talk about. I like even kind of accounting for all of that. I think Spider-Verse is the best looking film we've had. So far.
And even if, because I've seen people criticize the art and the style and everything, which you're entitled to your own opinion.
Yeah, you can be wrong.
But even if you don't think that this looks really, really cool, which it does, you gotta admit the technology behind it and like the way that they're making this work is very interesting, cutting edge, and kind of taking animation technology into a whole different level or landscape. If you've seen any of the behind the scenes of the Spider-Verse videos, the making of videos, it's just really interesting and cutting edge what they're kind of doing to achieve this look.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know, they're utilizing a lot of the tools that have been available to everybody for a while in just really interesting ways. And I really admire that about these animation studios and these artists who are on these teams.
Yeah. The joke made me laugh.
Bruh.
Miles versus kilometers.
God damn.
It made me laugh. I couldn't help it. Oh man. Yeah, no. Everything about the production, the artistry that went into pretty much every frame of this fucking movie, their use of like animating on twos, their use of frame rate, their use of like technique, overdrawing, all that. I think this is quite literally the peak of animation.
Yeah, and they've like
As we know
all
it so
those
far.
like all those techniques have been used in many different films by themselves, right? Like there have been films that have been animated on twos. There have been films that have been, animated and rendered via this similar shader, but not animated on twos. Like, but to have a film and a trilogy come together with all these different techniques to make something that looks like this
looks
is
like
crazy.
it left off the pages of a comic book. It looks like it's straight out of the brain of a concept artist. It's
yes,
so fucking cool.
Yeah. Which that was like a lot of movies, and particularly animated movies, have this thing where like you see the concept art for the movie, and it's like sometimes you just be like, why didn't we get that? I would have loved that. Like,
love that.
The look of the concept art is so cool compared to what we get in the movies, and the movie itself will look fine. Yeah, yeah, and like the movie itself will look fine. Like not like the movie's an issue, but sometimes like seeing the creative like freedom that the concept artists get to have with the look of their pieces is like, I would love to see that in the movie itself. And Spiderverse movies have done
a great example of this is what's it called? The really shitty movie on Netflix everybody's talking. What is it called? Like it's not Electric Forest. God damn it.
No, that's a very popular music festival that happens every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, you're a stinky butt boy. The Electric State. If you look up the Electric State real quick.
State, STAT?
Yep.
The Electric Stat.
You're gonna get this movie.
It's a 5.9 out of 10. It's not the worst.
It's not his. It's
Millie
Bobby Brown.
Fuck off. That's Millie Bobby Brown.
That's Millie Bobby Brown.
Interesting.
It's generic Superboy, Milk Toast Super, and then I want you to look up.
One sec, is it literally just because she has blonde hair? I've never seen her with blonde hair before.
Yeah,
the Russo brothers
throwing me off.
Isn't she fully married now?
Yeah, she's married.
Hell yeah, good for her. If you hit the plus,
one sec, I just want to see her face.
Oh,
because I want to like. Okay, there we go. It was gonna bother the fuck out of me that I could not recognize her.
Yeah, and then if you look up the Electric State concept art book or art book,
I will say we didn't get to see enough. I would say to appreciate this the way that you will be able to.
Yeah, I haven't gone through the full book, but I've watched a couple of YouTube people like break down the story that we see in this book because it's a story told through concept art pieces.
Oh, okay.
Right. As we watch people navigate this like desolate world, and it's simultaneously both like horrific.
This is a crazy juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Like the most normal interstate. Like if I just go driving right now, I would probably see and then gigantic warships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are nice.
This does create a really interesting vignette of like this futuristic world, but not so much different than ours. Like there's still like motley trucks and 4-door sedans, but also giant ships and all the things you see in post-apocalyptic techno worlds, like Borderlands, Fallout, but kind of still more grounded.
Mm-hmm.
This looks really interesting.
And you're saying like you wish the style of these concepts kind of shone through a little bit more in the.
No, I didn't. Granted, I'm basing this opinion off of a review I saw, but from what I gathered, you know, the actual piece of media, the Electric State, the movie, really just washes this out and takes that creativity and uses it to try to make a. Literally, I think that it was described as being a second screen movie.
Wait, like Ghostface Scream or
no, like second screen. So
second screen.
You're
not paying attention to this.
Supposed to not pay attention to this.
Don't do that.
They both put like. I wonder how much money they've made back off of this. It's just it's really just like a piece of
Chris Pratt
slop. Yeah.
Wait, is that Chris Pratt?
That's Chris Pratt.
I didn't know that.
That's why I was saying generic Superboy. It's Chris Pratt.
My brain was like, that's not Chris Pratt, and I just did not think
Chris Pratt.
He did a good job trying to look like someone else.
It seems like the focus is not on that. Okay, there it is. There it is. All of a sudden, it was Chris Pratt.
They took off his wig.
Yeah. I can, if it's just Mr. Peanut as it is. So it seems like they don't focus on that environment the way these concept pieces do, which does definitely make it a lot more generic and less interesting to look at. I'm gonna have to look into this, or either watch that, like share that review you were talking about with us at some point, or try to go find that. But yeah, that sucks because this concept art does look really interesting. It's not like, as someone who doesn't even generally care about this kind of style, this is drawing me in a way that makes me really want to watch it. But there's also, some of this looks a lot more like existential and horrifying than what that movie is kind of presenting to us.
I'm getting like a vibe of like, this is like, these concepts are kind of world building, whereas the movie doesn't focus as much on all of these different aspects of what the state of the world is right now.
Just based on that trailer, it doesn't look like there's a lot of focus on the world and the environment that I kind of wish it would be. But yeah.
Did you fully watch the movie?
I didn't.
Just reviews.
Yeah, honestly, I don't intend to. Well, and looking back at this, I actually wonder if I'm conflating the Electric State with another piece of concept art that I've looked at, or like art book similar to this, that has a very different vibe. But I'll have to go.
It's really cool, though.
It is.
These concepts.
It's very cool.
Is this Solomon? Where's your name? I don't have a name. I'm assuming this is the person who put it together. Y'all can see it. Look at this. Still Meadow. Simon Stalenhag. That's E. Stalenhag. Yeah, no, that looks sick. And it's upsetting that the movie itself is not as good as that. But
yeah. But the fact that the Spiderverse, we can't tell whether those images are just stills from the movie or concept is really interesting and kind of exciting based on what we've seen so far, especially.
And considering this is the third one, like, we already know that this quality is going to be fantastic.
So excited.
I'm so pumped.
I'm so fucking excited.
In
dude.
theaters June 4th, 2027. So we got a little over a year and some change.
Yeah. We got a release date.
I'm willing to wait. I'm just glad that it's actually happening.
Yeah.
Right.
We got Spiderverse happening, and then we have the Zelda movie happening right after that. But we're going to talk about that a little later. For right now, let's take a quick break.
Break time.
So there was, on Thursday, there was a Nintendo Direct that I did not know about until like the day before.
Yeah, I didn't know about it until like it was happening. Like I was making breakfast and then I saw on my phone a notification that said, "Oh yeah, this is happening now." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Like I think like I was up late the night before and just saw like Nintendo had a direct live stream premiere schedule, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll be watching that."
I find it so interesting that in a time where I feel like I've never seen more advertisement, I know less and less about the things that I care about.
Yeah, right?
Like,
in fairness, I think we kind of go out of our way to like avoid the advertisement part of it, and we just kind of interact with and engage with the community shit.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, kind of works itself out. I catch things as they go. Like, it does kind of suck that they do this shit like usually midweek or later, because like we recorded a Tuesday. Guess what's gonna happen tomorrow? One of the biggest Nintendo Directs that we could ask for
in a very long time.
Very long time, because we're gonna get Switch 2 news tomorrow. We might, we'll see. By the time I put this episode out, maybe we'll have watched it. Maybe we'll
Switch Mouse confirmed.
Switch Mouse, I think. We'll see if Switch Mouse confirmed.
Switch Liquid features confirmed.
Switch Nanite or Switch Symbiote confirmed. Every Switch has 2 micro symbiotes.
Each Switch will be equipped with nanobots to burrow into your skin and enhance your intelligence.
I'm down for the Nintendo overlords.
Switch DS attachment confirmed.
But we'll worry about all that tomorrow, because today we're going to be talking about some of the games that were announced back on Thursday. We're not
exciting
gonna do
ones too.
Some really this is a nice little lineup we got going, because this is the stuff I got up for today is just the things that I found interesting. Like, this isn't even the full list of games. Maybe we'll go over that a little bit, but like, if you want to see the full direct, obviously it's up. They have everything. They have either the full direct itself, or you can see each individual video, like we're going to be watching in a second here. It was pretty fucking, shit looks nice. So we're going to start out with, I was shocked you didn't want to talk about this, but the Dragon Quest HD games were on here.
That's true. I don't know. I like Dragon Quest more than Final Fantasy. I'm gonna get flamed by a lot of people, but I wouldn't even say that I follow Dragon Quest very closely.
Mm-hmm.
My first Dragon Quest game was like Dragon Quest like 7 or something on the DS or whatever. I even forget what number that was.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of jumped to like Dragon Quest 11, which was the most recent one. I think Tales. No, not even gonna say, because I don't even think that's the right one.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say Tales of an Elusive Time. I don't think that's correct. Maybe it is, but whatever. The most recent one, and that one was good. But it's like I haven't been like a Dragon Quest fan in the sense that I played all of them. Right. Great series. The ones that I've played, I had a great time with. So I can only imagine the other ones are pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get super hype when I see, Dragon Quest stuff. Like the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remake is interesting, and I'm glad for the people who are diehard Dragon Quest fans. Seemed like a really great deal for them, but I probably won't be picking that up. But yeah, that's my take on it.
Fair enough.
Good series.
You know what? I stand corrected. Your poser status remains intact.
I hold that status proudly.
That's fair. But yeah, so Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD, 2D remakes happening. No Sleep for Konami date from AI, the Somnium Files. I know nothing about AI, the Somnium Files. I'm sure people are very excited for this. I have nothing really to say. Right Owl remastered The Mystery of the Soulless Army, I believe is from Atlas Games. I know that looked really good. Not really my jam, but it looked pretty fucking good. The first one we got to that I was really excited about, or I intrigued about. I wouldn't even say excited, but was very intrigued about, was Shadow Labyrinth. And we got a release date trailer for that.
Wick, wake up.
Don't tell me what to fucking do.
You have been chosen. And we have work to do, number 8.
That just Pac-Man?
Yeah. And that's the part that kind of got me.
Oh.
It is. What?
Can they do that?
Well, considering this game is made by Bandai Namco, yeah.
Oh,
They just
okay, yeah.
can't.
All right. Okay.
We'll get to it at the end, but yeah, I looked at that too, and I was like,
A swordsman needs more than a sword.
yeah. What?
This feels
Yeah,
kind of
whoa.
like...
Yeah.
What the?
Don't just defeat enemies. Consume them.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
It's crazy.
Consume.
It's like, what if we revisited Pac-Man?
What if we crossed Pac-Man with Hyper Light Drifter and Blasphemous?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say Kirby and Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts, nah, I don't think so.
I can see Kirby.
It feels like, I don't know, Kingdom Hearts is like the classic character. Well, I guess Pac-Man was a video game character, but...
Yeah. He's one of the classic characters, actually.
Yeah. One of the first.
That makes sense. Bandai, yep.
It's Bandai Namco, and so they were taking the Pac-Man and they're kind of revisiting the concept and going like, what if we gave this a horror, dark fantasy, techno future overtone to it?
I can dig it.
I can fucking dig that. Like,
I'm so fucking here for this, dog.
Like,
This
I'm
crosses so
very
many
here for
things.
this. July 18th of this year, as a matter of fact, is when it's coming out, and I'm probably gonna pick this up and play it.
They knew right where my sweet spots were, and they hit every single one of them.
Yeah,
I'm so turned on.
Yeah, like this looks really
actively
good.
jizzing.
Because I wasn't, so when I was playing the live, and I wasn't paying, like, I was like, I'll pay attention when something like really catches my eye, and so this was on, and I wasn't paying a lot of attention to it, and then I saw, what was the moment when we see because quite literally, like you just did, of like, oh, that's just Pac-Man.
Oh, that's Pac-Man. That's kind of funny.
And then you
He
see
looks
him
like
literally
Pac-Man.
waka across the thing.
I'm like,
I saw
oh.
this and I was like, hey, that's just Pac-Man. Can they do that? Can they actually do that?
Yeah.
And then it got to the end of it and it was like, oh, because this is by Bandai Namco. And they straight up says like a Pac-Man inspired adventure or something like that right at the end of it.
It's like they absolutely can do that because
as
they
it turns
were
out.
the ones who did that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a walk right into your heart.
And then like the fusion and the possession aspect of this and turning it to giant mechs and bullshit.
Giant mecha Pac-Man.
Right?
That's crazy.
Like watching this was like, okay, I do very much want to play this.
Why is that animation just so funny to me?
Just
because you have this fucking bestial mech, and then all of a sudden Pac-Man is just the center of his chest, and he just want to chomp. He just chomp it.
Right. Yeah, no. So this looks hella interesting. This was like the third or fourth announcement they had on the day, and I was like, okay, hell yeah, I guess we'll be paying a lot of attention to this. So,
and I respect this because again, they're taking an original old.
Pac-Man's he's in the O.
Yeah.
Hey, that's Pac-Man.
That is Pac-Man.
Like they're taking like an older IP, like an iconic, character, if you quote unquote Pac-Man character, right? Kind of returning to the roots of it and reinventing it in a way where it's not cheesy.
Yeah.
And it feels like like a revival of sorts.
Yeah. I don't know if I would say return to the roots, but they definitely have taken.
I don't know about the wording, but I think what you're saying about it, I agree with.
Yeah, like the mechanics.
Because it's not what if Pac-Man but dark.
Yeah.
It is, let's take this all the way back to just like before Pac-Man was the character itself.
Mm-hmm.
This concept of this little round pie thing and the movements it can do, and what if different direction with that same starting point is what I really like about this.
Well,
and I would actually like to see a lot more games do that.
Right.
It's also kind of interesting that it's not even in the title. It's not a Pac-Man game.
It's not a Pac-Man game, exactly, right? Like, but so take the starting ideation concept, but like, what if it went? I say new direction, like Pac-Man wasn't from the arcade era where all it could be was a single screen arcade.
What if we made a hack and slash Pac-Man Metroidvania?
Yeah. Like, what if we start with the elevator pitch of Pac-Man and then added different genre elements on top of it, and where do we get from there?
Part of me wonders how much of what this game was maybe part of the original idea, maybe way back in the day, right? Because I don't know, maybe it's not, but like when you think about how games are created, how concepts of games are when you're just coming up with the idea,
And then that meets the technology and the
right. And it's like, okay, how much of what actually came about in this game was part of the original pitch? And it's like, well, was maybe this idea of like, okay, maybe the Pac-Man thing is like a companion to another character. And what if someone was like, no, scratch that, just have the Pac-Man thing. And then, no, scratch all the adventure aspect. Let's just have it going through this easy labyrinth or maze.
I mean, in fairness, you're in a labyrinth being chased by ghosts.
Right. And it's
your main
dark.
ability to fight them was to eat them.
Yeah. And it's dark. So you could say that Pac-Man is traveling in a dark labyrinth.
Right.
So like how much of this idea was a thing before even the original Pac-Man came through?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe we'll get a giant leak that spills those concepts from like 1980, whatever the fuck.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, Shadow Labyrinth looks really fucking good, and I can't wait for that to come out.
Yeah, and your talk about how you wish that other companies would maybe try this with some of their older IPs. I also am having that thought too of that would be really cool to see.
So like, there's times where I want the modern interpretation of a retro game, and then there's times where I didn't even realize I wanted this until I was getting it.
Yeah.
Of like, I want like, because I want to say reimagining, but I don't think reimagining is even the word I want to use. But I want this concept of like, what if the starting idea, but new genre and better technology, and the idea, the creativity you can get out of that. So we'll see if this kind of starts something.
Give Mario a gun.
if Mario had a gun. Oh man, Mario's really from Brooklyn.
There it is.
I'm just gonna skip to the important shit, and then we'll get to like the honorable mentions that I wanted to get to. Because the next big thing that happened, even though it's not really for me, I think I said this even last year when it first got announced. I don't care that much about the Metroid series, but I know how important the Metroid Prime series is to people, and so we got more looks at Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
Mm-hmm. A lot of my coworkers are hyped about this.
Oh yeah.
And we're mad that it didn't get like this big, and it was just kind of in this direct that wasn't super announced.
Right.
This looks like Overwatch or something.
A little bit.
Kind of painted.
This is the unknown planet Vuros. Here, Samus finds a verdant jungle with a colossal tree at its center. In order to survive and escape this planet that she was unexpectedly transported to, Samus must scan stone figures and other relics to carve a path forward. She's not alone, though. Abhorrent, alien creatures living in the jungle are waiting to strike. As she explores the planet, Samus is granted mysterious and ancient powers. Psychic abilities.
This was the thing that got me.
Yeah.
These powers allow Samus to operate mechanisms and to open doors. They also allow her to control the trajectory of her beams.
Yeah, I know,
with
right?
the power of her mind.
You can open doors.
Why were these powers bestowed upon Samus?
Like,
And what will be her fate after being summoned to Vuros? The threads intertwining beyond space and time are beginning to weave a new tale.
I remember that boss from Maker.
I remember that boss from the last Metroid game.
I'm really not excited about it.
Yeah, there's something about
it looks good, but it looks for a.
I don't even know if it looks good.
I personally think it looks good. I like the painted style and kind of the stylistic version of this.
I think it looks good, but I feel like it looks good in 2012.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I'm not as knowledgeable about any past Metroid Prime games. So I can't say, like, oh, this is like a return to something, or this is like in line with the others. Like, I don't have that experience to say so. But again, I will say that, like, quite a few of my coworkers are like Metroid fans, and they seem really excited.
People have also been waiting for time.
I think they have
for a long time.
There's that too.
So, like,
they're really lacking perspective.
I mean, I played the previous 3 games, and I really liked them.
What do you think about what you're seeing here?
I don't think I've seen a more boring take on first person. I know you were asking me. Sorry.
I mean, it kind of looks boring. It looks like a Metroid game.
Right. I wonder if it's the studio playing way too close to their chest and trying to play it way too safe when they really need to be like. Once again, as someone who has not cared about the Metroid series, I have not played the previous games. I have not been one of the people waiting the last 15 fucking years for a new Metroid Prime, right? So I don't have the years of anticipation behind this that maybe this is sating those folks. It sounds like for someone who has played the series, this is not enough.
This looks so dumb.
Like, this doesn't look, it looks very basic.
Yeah.
To the point that like the psychic abilities don't really seem like why?
See, it looks like they're trying to dip into puzzle territory, but the puzzles that we've seen so far are put orb in other orb, open door in an interesting way. I'm not seeing it. I
also noticed the Chosen One narrative, and I was like, Fluff's gonna have a
I don't care for that.
I think Metroid has been a Chosen One narrative though for a long time now. Wasn't like one of the like Super Metroid or something like that, where it's like, oh yeah, Samus is special or some shit.
I can't remember exactly. Is she special? I can't remember how she's special.
I believe she is. That's why the baby didn't affect her, and that's why she can get the power up from the Chozo and all that shit. I don't like. This is information I've gleaned off of just other videos all through my fucking history.
Yeah, it's like I have bits and pieces of it too, but I can't remember the exact.
Yeah. But yeah, it's
that's how long it's been.
right. Like, I like the style. I see what you're getting at. Where like it looks good for 2012. I don't see anything that jumps out at me of like.
Yeah, I don't think it looks bad. I find it quite charming.
Yeah.
See, there's the way it looks with like 2012, but then it's like, okay, comparing that to like what we've seen with Pokemon Za, I'm like, okay, this definitely looks a lot better.
Better be some pizza in that game.
Like, this looks like a stylistic choice, not a physical limitation or imposed limitation. Like, I don't mind it because I've never been a huge fan of like hyper realistic looking
actually
video games. So
I feel like most of the time that actually detracts from the overall visual appeal when people try to go like hyper stylized. Honestly, the biggest drag for me is that looks the combat.
Yeah, they're playing this like a gameplay trailer. And yeah, you're showcasing gameplay, but this in the most boring way possible.
Yeah. I mean,
Metroid Prime 5, Samus trips on a rock and all her psychic powers fall out. You got to get Metroided. That's how Metroid works, all right?
Yeah.
Operating mechanics and open doors might be one of the most unintentionally hilarious statements in a direct ever. Yeah, it just felt like they played this way too safe.
It's something about the overdub and
the pacing on this felt so off.
But also this, even though
the way they like cut away from the music every time, like slowly faded to black as if it was over, and then we're like, here's a new thing that we're gonna do.
And like he would say his line and it would end, and the just space of time felt like that was all that was on the paper. I don't have anything else to say.
I think it's
also time for the next one.
I think it's also interesting
how
my
teleprompter's updated.
Maybe one of the reasons why it maybe kind of feels off a little bit to me is because seemingly some of the previous promo for the game didn't seem to feel like this.
Do we have previous promo other than just
like little slight hints? So it's not like it's like obvious like, oh, the game is going to be this, but like, I don't know, the vibe I got from like previous like, oh, a new Metroid game's coming out. And the little things that they did show didn't give off the vibe that this does. I don't know.
You've seen way more than I have, so I have no
And
idea.
just previous directs, they've kind of hinted at certain things. Like that's the only other place I've seen other stuff.
I kind of wonder how cooked this is.
Yeah,
I'm
did
not-
they give a date?
They just had this year. They don't really give
This-
an exact date.
Oh,
Which points to it's probably going to be a cross gen.
because it's been forever, but they just started.
I'm not gonna lie. I said 15 years as a joke. I did not know it's been 18 years since Prime 3.
Yeah, but somebody else was developing it, and then they took it away from them and gave it back to
That is, I think that is what happened.
Retro.
Bachelors and masters while waiting for this game.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Metroid Prime 3 can vote now.
Yeah.
Man, I'm really just, you know what I'm pumped about? It's Alarmo.
Well, that's out now.
You know what I'm.
Yeah.
Do people like it? Does it do anything?
The couple reviews I've seen, no.
Oh shit!
There's a reason why we haven't really heard much about it since they dropped it.
That's funny as hell.
Do you know what I'm pumped about?
What's that?
Pumping
the
it?
Eye flush.
Oh yeah.
Is that real or is this a joke?
This is a thing they made up a while ago.
Because of
my
the
God,
alarm.
you're right. Oh, shit, I got it.
Oh, man.
Patreon content just became canon.
No,
baby.
the fuck it didn't. No, the fuck it didn't.
Bleep that
If
out.
you want to know more about what we're talking about, you got to go to the Patreon.
Gotta go to the Patreon.
Got to go to the Patreon.
Then we could just cut it out.
Don't
Yeah,
listen to
Metroid Prime 4. I went in with no opinion. I come out with no opinion. It's a game. I'm sure the Metroid people are very happy that it's going to become a thing, but
I'm really sorry for them.
yeah, like just off what I'm looking at, it's not gonna for something that we've been waiting damn near 2 decades for. I'm not seeing the hype, but maybe, like I said, the best case scenario is that they're just playing it super safe with this trailer, and maybe it ends up being way more. Who knows?
Maybe it's like the next. What is it? My recall is terrible.
Damn.
Gordon Freeman.
Oh, Half-Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're just, it existing is enough for people to be like,
Very much, very possible. Because I mean, Metroid Dread did really fucking well, but that was a slight tone shift too. Like it dipped way more into horror than Metroid usually does.
Isn't that somewhat of a slightly different play style too?
It was actually more arcane because it was the 2D Metroidvania,
Right.
2D side scroller style, which is not Prime, but is what the Metroid series started off with.
Metroid always has had. Maybe that's what sort of feels off about this. Is
There's not a lot of horror.
It's not very
element to it.
dark.
Yeah.
It's like all like.
Well, maybe that's what I'm getting mixed up with. Maybe I'm confusing.
It's very environmental. Like it's
Yeah.
very like nature
Like
compared to like
most of the Metroid games were like kind of like almost like monster body horror, like
their
experimental
atmosphere
labs.
came from
like
the dark, cramped hallways they're in. Not once you put her in a big opened up, I say big and opened up, but a much more opened up like natural landscape
Space.
and the monsters around. It's like it's less claustrophobic, and it's kind of detracting from that a little bit.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's
well, that could be why maybe like diehard fans are pumped is because it's such a change of pace, just in
Could be.
terms of environment.
yeah, and maybe that's why I felt like the vibe was different. But that could also be because I was thinking of Metroid Dread, which that has been announced, and there's been stuff on that for a while. Maybe I was
Metroid Dread's
getting
been out for years.
right. Well, maybe that's I'm getting that mixed up
Yeah.
with
'Cause
Beyond.
I was gonna say I'm fairly certain the only thing we had for Metroid Beyond was just literally a logo promo from last year.
Right, and I'm remembering that now since you mentioned Dread. I was like, oh yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking about. I think.
So I will let the Metroid folks chime in. If you're a big fan of Metroid and the Prime series, let us know how you guys feel about it. Because
Why should I be excited about it?
it is questioning what's the hype here. But
Yeah, as non-Metroid fans, you tell us why this is a huge deal.
yeah, that doesn't
I'm
come
also
down to the fact that it's been
interested
20
by
years.
how this has diverged so far from the Metroidvania genre.
Right.
It's really interesting to me.
I
That's
mean,
just a passing thought.
That's fair. I mean, it's kind of par for the course for a lot of series because like take the Mario series, you had the classic Mario side scroller that does still persist even to this day. But then you had the Super Mario series, or like the World Land 3D World
Where they
series
use the
that,
IP to push a fundamentally different game.
Yeah, and they just kind of have them running congruent to each other. Now, granted, I don't think Metroid, I guess, yeah, because you get Dread that stuck to the original style, and then Prime that is the 3D style or the first person shooter.
And the Prime games all follow the same kind of like navigation as like a Metroidvania.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, like you go back through areas
okay.
once you have like upgrades and ways to get to new areas.
I wonder if that will affect. I wonder if that might be another reason why people are excited about the psychic powers, is because that'll affect like previous areas you've been through or shit like that. Or,
And it's better than like getting yet another blaster upgrades. And all that fun jazz.
Super duper
Blaster
3.
All the Prime games have like, it's probably like the same as like, I don't know, like the light beam and the dark beam.
Right,
and,
yeah.
Like it's just one of the gadgets you get along the way.
Psychic powers and shit. Well, we'll see. Let us know. The next thing that did excite me though was Rift of the Necrodancer.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because this is a series I have known about since the original Crypt of the Necrodancer. I have Crypt of the Necrodancer and I have Cadence of Hyrule. And I have played a bit of both. I've not played through all of them. But it has always been a really cool take on the rhythm genre, the rhythm game genre. And Rift of the Necrodancer, as we're about to see, is a more traditional rhythm game now. So
3, 2, 1, bring it on!
Most bouncy characters I've ever seen. Oh. I somehow missed that.
I need to finish this.
So, from what I know, this has been a thing. Rift of the Necrodancer has been released for a while now.
It just came to the Switch? Or is it just showcasing it on the indie?
As far as I know, I thought this has been a thing, and this is maybe just an announcement that it's coming on the Switch, or announcing all the different DLC coming out, or those different game modes that you saw that feel more like Rhythm Heaven, right? And I thought that was kind of the main announcement with this.
It's very much probably, because it says it's available now, so it's probably just coming to the Switch, or just
it's been available since April 15th of last year.
Interesting. I knew nothing about this.
I don't have it, but I've been like, when they were in the development aspect of it, I've kind of seen things in the development phase. I think they were at some kind of a conference or expo around here, or they were bringing, I don't know. Like, I saw it in development somewhere. And when it dropped, it was everywhere for like maybe a week. I saw a lot of stuff on it, maybe because I had Crypt of the Necrodancer. I haven't heard anything much recently until this, and I was like, "Oh, okay." It seems like they're adding a lot of new stuff, but yeah, it looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks like a ton of fun. I didn't even notice the Rhythm Heaven stuff. I had somehow managed to just miss that because, like, I saw this and was writing up the Discord post, and by the time I got back, it had jumped back to the more traditional style. So yeah, I guess I'll probably just pick this up then and try it. That was a nice little quick one. The next one. So more Pokemon Legends EA. Pokemon Za.
Za ha ha.
Hey, you guys want some cheesy bread?
What kind of cheesy bread?
Thick cheesy bread. I'm gonna go fix that.
It's just been open.
My bad.
The fuck is just like.
That's on me.
No, it's not been shutting. I don't blame you, is what I'm saying.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Actually get the fuck out. You don't get any cheesy bread.
And on my way out, I'll leave the door open.
Damn, you got us there. All right. frame rate still looks like ass.
I was wondering, is that just like the parsec connection?
It could
or
be
is
the parsec
that...
connection. I don't recall that looking that bad during the actual live, so.
You'll begin your adventure by choosing one of 3 partner Pokemon.
Man, some of that.
The setting is this Metropolis that also appeared in the Pokemon.
Oh, did you see the frame rate drop on that last shot?
Oh, Jesus.
Metropolis.
If it drops the same way.
No, yeah, that's
parsec. It was just buffer.
Yeah, that's parsec.
Oh, okay.
To make it easier for people and Pokemon to coexist, a company named Quasartico Inc. is carrying out an urban.
I mean, they better not have any lag or frame rate drops.
I am glad some of these shots look a lot more lively than the Pokemon Direct did.
Yeah.
Granted, there's still some shots of people just standing that I know is like Pokemon's history, but it's like, man, y'all could give them a little more movement.
I really take umbrage with some of these tiles.
Yeah.
They just don't make sense.
You can catch Pokemon here. But they might be hostile.
Really fun.
If you sense trouble,
it is cool what they're showing.
Yeah.
That looks like it's going to be so fun. I wish it looked better.
I just wish it looked better.
Yeah.
That's all it is that I know this is going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy playing it. But man, it could look better.
People and Pokemon live easygoing lives in Lumio City. But when night falls,
I found this interesting.
This was a new thing that we haven't seen yet. This is how they're going to get the trainer battles in.
Participate in a tournament.
Oh, also, that frame rate there was just bad. It was just bad in the trailer. Yes. Like, that cutscene trailer did not look great, frame rate wise.
If you're spotted, they'll challenge you to battle.
I am not good at spotting frame rate dips.
Strike first before being
in fairness, I'm kind of looking for them because of.
I mean, when your game looks like this, there should be no frame rate issue.
There shouldn't be a single frame rate dip, but
if what we've found is true and the polygon count on these Pokemon is legit terrible,
yeah,
then it makes sense.
I don't know if that's still a thing or not. That was back for the 3DS. It might have been because they're using. When they moved to the Switch, they started using the Niantic models.
Pogo.
So, yeah. So there's a good. Hopefully, they're a little more optimized, but I don't know what they're like now.
Day and night are two sides.
But it could be the same.
It seems there are even more secrets waiting to be uncovered. What will you find on your adventure?
Definitely like the way that they cut this.
It's cut
better.
A lot better.
Launches on Nintendo Switch.
This makes me understand what they were trying to do with the Metroid.
It's a much better looking trailer. I should have let you finish, but yes, like the pacing on this is so much better than that Metroid trailer.
Yeah,
like that Metroid trailer just felt like. Not gonna get into it. We're past Metroid. We're off the Metroid.
Metroid, we don't need to return.
Yeah, but this trailer didn't do anything new. It's the same stuff that we knew. I say it didn't do anything new. It did show off what the nighttime stuff is gonna be. This was new that we did not get a chance to see this during the Pokemon Direct. You're basically doing rank style Battle City shit, which actually is kind of cool.
And these are NPCs, right?
These are city's NPCs. Entire culture shifting at night to like support something different is such a fun idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the only worry I really have about it is if you're gonna have me go from rank Z to fucking A, which that's why it's ZA.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why it's ZA. Z2A. That's why they did it backwards. Sick. But if you're gonna have me do this, I hope the AI that they use for their battling is a little more. Actually, I say that since it's not really traditional Pokemon battles, it might be a little bit better. So we'll see. It might not be the comparison, but like I hope the AI is a little more sophisticated than generally you get with Pokemon games, because generally you can steamroll most NPCs in a Pokemon game.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're like going out of your way to use much weaker Pokemon or some shit. But yeah, that was like I've said all I needed to say about Pokemon Legends ZA for now. from the last time we talked about Pokemon. It was pointed out from what video I watched of the kind of disappointingly, the lighting style they're using on the Pokemon were taken more from Paldea, the Scarlet and Violet, instead of doing the cell shading from the other Legends game, which would have been personally looked better, in my opinion.
Would have been vastly superior.
It would have been superior to this because so it's not bad on a lot of things, but it reads as kind of like weird and muddy on some other stuff. But minor complaint.
I feel like you almost have to do Pokemon cell shaded. It's
if you're gonna go stylized and want to make it look good, yeah, like just do the cell shaded. It looks so much better in that style. But we'll talk about this later this year because we still don't have a proper date, which I think is just lending to there probably can't do anything until there's an official Switch 2 date.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Man, I'd hate to be people trying to sleep at night, bro.
Right? Just fucking Pokemon battles happening all over the goddamn place. The Pokemon
Sunbeam.
Self-destruct.
Pokemon uses sunny day. There goes the nighttime. Shit. Fuck. Oh man, the Pokemon. That's what. It's crazy that these light up. There's not curtains, so they're just not windows during the day.
No one sleeps in this city.
No one sleeps in this fucking city. But yeah, shit, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, the Pokemon world just developed the greatest soundproofing known in bed.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking lord.
Vacuum isolated rooms.
Yeah. Right. Oh man. Yeah. It looks like it's gonna be fun. It's Pokemon Legends EA. It looks like it's shaping up to be a pretty fun game. It might not be the greatest looking thing ever. It's probably going to have some really hilarious day one glitches. I am the greatest looking thing ever. Thank you.
Got him. Wait.
We'll see how that comes out. I'm sure I will have a deep dive on that when it actually comes out. But the thing that perked me the fuck up today, not today, but when this fucking dropped, because I was like, ain't no fucking way. Yeah. It was about, we'll get into it.
Hello there. Boop. The game you're about to see. Boop.
Because I was just like, this was going on. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yes. And there's one specific thing that made me sit up in my chair so hard.
Me and you had different points because my point was right here.
Just press the button.
The word
through the
you.
ring.
I was like, nuh-uh.
It sounds easy. But the timing is super tricky. Boop. Maybe you could try it in time to a rhythm.
And this is where it was confirmed.
The bobbing of
right.
The bobbing of the Switch.
Game, you might do almost anything, but you'll need to do it in rhythm. With practice, you might even be able to play it with your eyes closed.
You can actually. It's very fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
I was like, I cannot believe we're getting a new rhythm heaven.
It's so...
Oh my god.
With a brand new entry in the Rhythm Heaven series.
Why was she so sassy?
Rhythm Heaven Groove.
And it's okay. I'll wait a year. It's
I'll wait
fine.
a fucking year.
We'll wait
I don't
one
mind
more
waiting
year.
a year. I have no problem waiting a year.
Like
I've seen some clips from Ribbon Heaven, but explain to me why it's such a big deal.
Same thing with Metroid, right?
Right.
It's been ages.
It's been ages. Also, it's just a really charming game that does not try to be more than it is. It's just really fun to play if you're into rhythm games.
Really simplistic controls.
Quite
nothing
literally,
crazy
it's a one
at
button
all.
game. I think the Wii one, Rhythm Heaven Fever, had there were some points where you would just hold the A and B button for stuff, but it was literally a 1 to 2 button game. There's really good music, by the way.
And on the DS, they utilize the touchscreen for certain things. You flick, you could tap and hold, you can just tap. They have a few different, so it utilizes like, the mechanics and the features of whatever device it's, being put to good use, essentially.
I love their little feet.
Yeah, it's just a super charming little game.
They're so cute.
That it was super big when I was in high school and fell the fuck off.
Yeah.
like literally, I think, what was it, Mega Mix on the 3DS was the last one we got.
Yeah.
But
I don't even think that was,
I've seen the hammer all
it was
over
like
the place.
it was like a lot of the Japan only ones.
Yeah.
Over.
And I was super sad because honestly, I probably would have gotten a 3DS just for that.
You never had a 3DS?
Nope.
I did not know that.
Yep, I skipped over that. But
he's already 3D. What does he need an S for?
Damn. No reason at all.
You have to leave.
Yeah. I never had a chance to get. I never actually got Mega Mix. It was one of the ones I really wanted to get and just never paid for. I should find it to see if I could get it.
I mean, I would not have been able to navigate it well because it wasn't translated at all. But
no, Mega Mix was officially released for.
Why is that one?
It wasn't regionalized.
I was certain it was.
If you
not that I
just on the middle one's eyes, the way he like bobs make it blurred to look like it's shorter than the rest of, like he's angry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, double click, do the thing.
You can't.
Oh yeah.
But
he does look angry compared to the rest of them, but they all have the same.
They all have the same thing, but he looks angry.
Rhythm Heaven, known in Europe and Australia as Rhythm Heaven Paradise Mega Mix in Japan. In Japan is Rhythm Heaven Tengoku, the best plus, and Rhythm Heaven, the best plus in Korea. Is published on Nintendo on the 3DS.
Yeah, it was never released physically in North America.
Well, that's piracy.
Oh no!
I should never, ever.
Cause see, I do have Mega Mix.
I have Mega Mix,
but
I've paid for Mega Mix,
but it's not translated. Like it's Japanese, and so I was like, "Why is it like this?" And it's like, well, they actually didn't do a physical release in North America, so
it was digitally released. That's what I thought.
Is it
digitally? Your only way of playing it now is by having a hacked 3DS.
Interesting.
Because I was like, no, it was released. I remember it being released here. I just couldn't. I thought it had a physical release. I guess it was just digital only.
Huh.
We'll worry about these later. Don't do piracy.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah. Don't go hug your mother or something.
He's not your
unless
dad.
She hits you.
Unless she hits you, then report it to the cops.
Unless you were doing something bad that you shouldn't have been doing, and the hit was more like a correction because you're just a bad kid, then be better.
Beat your children.
You know what? Yeah. Fuck them kids.
That's what we're trying to say. Yes.
Fuck them kids. And play Rhythm Heaven Groove.
Yes. But no, like the moment when I knew it was a Rhythm Heaven game was the moment the click button sounded at the very beginning, the first click button, which if you turn on the volume and go at the very beginning, like,
I just need you to not close this page when we're done talking about it.
That's
okay. Sorry. I was trying to subtly get your attention.
I was waiting for the reason you got my attention.
I was waiting for it to not die.
What?
Instead of ended up being way more distracting than I intended to be. I'm sorry.
Like, why did you just like lightly finger
just
caress
wanted
me?
I just wanted you to know that I'm here.
Oh man. Were you saying the confirmation?
Go to the very beginning.
Very beginning.
My thought process. What is
Hello
this?
there. Boop. The game you're about to see.
Literally my reaction. I was like, I had this on the other screen. I was working, and I'm looking off the side. I'm like, what is that? I heard. I was like,
wait a minute.
You want to see?
Enhance. Like,
I'm amazed I didn't catch the A button noise.
Yeah.
I was like,
and a YouTube.
This little motherfucker. I was like, wait a minute. That's a rhythm. That's a music note, right?
Yeah. like a comment under this video, like perfectly. Yeah,
let's go.
There's a whole nother one too where it was like neuron activated. Yeah, what even is this? Rhythm Heaven A button sound effect, neuron activated. Like literally,
dude. The chat went so crazy when this came up. Rhythm fucking Heaven. Rhythm Heaven, really?
Maybe you could try
Just
it in
out of
time for
goddamn
rhythm.
nowhere, man. I don't think in a fucking direct where we had Pokemon, we didn't have any Zelda news. I don't think there was a Zelda game on the horizon just yet. But like,
not in the direct itself.
But like all the things we got, this was the thing I was most excited for. Professional. I was like, no fucking way we're getting a goddamn Rhythm Heaven at this stage of the game. Holy shit.
Yeah, and not even a few months ago, I was like, man, I need a Rhythm Heaven kick or something. And so I found like the Rhythm Heaven like maker thing that you can download. And so I like downloaded that and played a whole bunch of like custom songs that people did Rhythm Heaven stuff to, just to get like
a fix
because I was really wanting something Rhythm Heaven specific, because there are a lot of other rhythm games that are similar and like take what is it, inspiration from Rhythm Heaven,
right?
But I wanted something specifically Rhythm Heaven, and I found that and I was like, you know what, this will do. And there was talk in the forums about like, will there be another one on the Switch? Maybe not. All the company isn't a thing anymore, they went down, like I don't know. But to see this on the screen during the direct, and I didn't watch the direct live, I watched it afterward, and I didn't see any of like the announcements or whatever, because I started watching it maybe 30 minutes after it started, so I was a little behind everything.
Fair enough.
But to see this on my screen was wild.
Right. This year of our Lord 2025. We're getting a new Rhythm Heaven game next year. I am so fucking excited for this.
Oh yeah,
I am so excited for this.
Dishing money out with this one.
All right, these are more. There is one more game I wanted to get to, but this is. Dude, I don't know how I feel about this feature.
Yeah, I'm not
entirely certain how I feel about it. I don't feel bad about it. I don't have a negative opinion about it, but I'm really confused as to how I feel about it.
Yeah.
With game cards, you can put a game featuring Mario in this Nintendo Switch system and a Legend of Zelda game in this one, freely inserting the games you have on hand into any system you want.
Right.
But what if digital games could be as flexible and convenient as game cards? Well, here's what we came up with. Introducing the Virtual Game Card. In the future, virtual game cards can be used for digital games.
Why do they cut?
When purchasing the digital version of a game,
I know exactly
it will be loaded
why
onto
you're
your
annoyed
system
with that.
as a virtual game card, allowing you to play that title.
Well, yeah, like they built things up with the tension instead of flowing.
Your digital
they cut.
games will be lined up as virtual game cards on a dedicated management screen. Here, you can load and eject your virtual game cards and manage which games you can play on your system. If you have two Nintendo Switch systems, you can eject a virtual game card from one and load it onto the second. Now you can play this game on the second system wherever and whenever you want, just as if you had inserted a physical game card. With virtual game cards, you can freely load and arrange which games you play on up to two systems. Local communication with your second system is required, but only the first time. You can also lend out virtual game cards to your Nintendo account family group members. Connect to your family group member system via local wireless when you want to lend a game. Choose the title you're lending and who you're lending it to. Choose the title you're lending and who you're lending it to. And you're done. They can now play on their own system. You can only lend one game at a time to a particular person. Games can be lent out for 2 weeks, after which they will automatically return to you, making digital games even easier to use. Virtual Game Card.
So there are things that I like about this, and there are things that I really don't like about this.
Yeah.
There are things that work and things that really kind of don't, unless it's like stuff they're not really saying because there's like intricate things to all of this, right? Like in the small print, like this does this, and this is true that this works this way. It's like, oh, okay, well, they just didn't say it here.
Right.
Like, for me, like, I can see this working in a family setting pretty well if you have, like, you know, you have your two systems, right? You know, your kids or something. You have two kids and they each have a system. Like, I could see this working pretty well, sure. But for me, I'm like, well, what if I have, like, friends who live in a different state or something? It's like, well, it doesn't work for you then. You can't send them over the internet. Like, you know, you have to be in the same place in order for this to work.
Only the first time, which is really dumb.
Even then.
Because once two consoles have been in a local proximity to each other, you can do it over just the internet. But it's like, and I think it ties in because that's what they were saying. It's just the first time has to be. It's only local the first time. Everything else is just internet. And in fairness, they are saying that this is meant to be. This is really only useful if you have those family account things. Because if you just have multiple Switches, you're probably just gonna load your fucking profile and download the games anyway. And that to me is like, this could have been way more useful. Small aside. When I hate that. I hate that specifically. And they did it the first time. I thought this is what you were talking about.
Yeah. The animation specifically.
The animation on the text.
That's what I thought you were talking about too.
They wait for it to slide into place and then
it drops down. Yeah.
I that bugged the fuck out of me the whole time.
It's very annoying.
Yeah, it is irritating. I hate the audio cutoff that they do.
Yeah.
I don't know. They go boom, 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 boom. It's like me when I cut off that TikTok earlier.
Yeah. It's edging you. I think I get where they're getting at with this. It's like you want to be able to dad buys a thing and wants to be able to lend the games out to his kids without a ton of fucking hassle.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you would probably just associate them all to the same Nintendo account anyway. It's like as long as the console has the Nintendo account logged into it, you can just download whatever digital games you want to download.
Regardless of what profile.
Exactly. So it doesn't matter what profile it is. So if you're going to play this as the ability, like, so the big thing they finally got to was the ability to lend games out. So if we're going to do that, but it can only be done in the family group, then we have kind of, could I get like 8, you 3, and like 4 other people, and we just make our own family group? Yeah, we could do that. But then then we go back to the thing of like, well, to even do this, both Switches have to be in the same physical location at least once.
This feels like UX and business had to have a compromise. You know what I mean?
A little bit, yeah.
But also, just like, this is just a feature, right?
Right.
They didn't have to do this at all.
They did not.
They did not
have to do this.
They could have kept with the same standard system that we've, like, people have been discussing something like this for a long time, where it would be really nice to loan out virtual games to like loan or do something like that, just like you could with a physical copy or like your physical license.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not really been a thing. And I agree. I would like to see this expanded so that you could do more with it. You could lend to more people. You could lend more easily.
Right.
But yeah, it just isn't a thing.
Like you said, maybe there'll be more to it when it comes out. That's when you look into it, it's like, oh, this is actually more useful. It just wasn't conveyed super well in this promo. But as it stands right now, my understanding of it is like, nice that you guys are thinking about it, but I don't see this really being useful or necessary.
I wonder what kind of data they're basing this off of, because I know there are a lot of 2 Switch households.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
And I know that oftentimes those, especially for something like Animal Crossing, they have distinctly different users for that specific reason, because you don't want the same account.
Because even if you play on a different profile on the same console, there is one person that owns the account, that owns the island, and you're always, no matter what profile you play on, you're playing as a secondary member of the other person's island. Which is really dumb. It's so fucking stupid, but whatever.
Yeah. And so, like, for something like that, this makes so much sense, right? Where, like, your kid's like, Mom, I want to play Animal Crossing on my own island. And so you lend them the game for 14 days, and you're working, so you're not going to be on it that much. It's not like that's a big deal.
Right.
And so that gives you a lot more flexibility, affordability. It's a lot more reason to buy this system in the first place, because instead of because it allows you to manage digital games within a family setting in a much more effectively. Because that's what I think the use case is really for.
Okay. I wasn't aware of that Animal Crossing thing. For that I could see this definitely being useful.
Now, I will say that is not I would not call that a normal example. Like, that is not a representative example. It is kind of a unique thing to Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
As I understand it. Most other games, like, if you switch profiles, you switch save completely. Like, you're starting a new iteration of the save file, right? Yeah, that's one way to do it. I mean, that's one example that this is very useful for.
This actually makes me wonder if we're going to see another Animal Crossing very soon. Specifically, because I would
imagine so. Yeah,
I was talking to some of my friends about who own 2 Switches. I was like, what do you guys think about the Switch 2? And they're like, yeah, we really like it. We're excited about it, but we're probably only going to get one unless there's another Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I'm curious if this is pointing towards there being a more focus on digital content and cloud storage with the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Well, that is one thing actually that I guess I don't know how much it ties into this factor much at all, but what they decided to discontinue like these points that you get.
The platinum and gold points.
Yeah, I think it's really just the gold ones that they're discontinuing.
Yeah.
And that is for like when you buy digital games, right? They're kind of getting rid of that.
Wait, so like, are they just axing it? And if you had any, they're not?
Yeah, so you're only going to be able to redeem them for a certain amount of time, and I think after like a year or something.
Shit! I gotta get on that. I got a decent chunk of those. I've been saving them.
They don't have anything very useful or interesting.
Well, the thing is though, if you have enough of those gold things, you can use them to buy games. Like,
I was gonna say they're just they're straight currency.
Because there's 2 different things we could be talking about here. There's the gold points you get. So there's those you get for buying stuff in the eShop.
Yep.
When you added in the platinum, I thought you were talking about the stuff on the Nintendo website. Okay.
No, I'm talking about those gold things you get from buying
absolutely
stuff.
Use those to fuck up.
Yeah,
use those if you got them.
axing that after in like.
I loved it. That was one of the biggest reasons I was on the eShop as much as I was.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I'm able to play some of those like smaller like indie games that I have on my console, because I had a good amount of those.
Because you got cents on the dollar for every purchase you made.
Yeah,
and that was really nice.
Yeah, at one point I had like $10 worth of points, and I used it to get a heavy discount on like a game that I was really wanting, like $10 off.
Too late. That's already done. So points are no longer being earned as of the 24th. Yeah. Gold points will no longer be earned on physical games that release after the 24th.
You can't earn anymore, but you could still use the points.
Yeah, existing points remain valid. You can still use any gold points you've earned to get discounts on Nintendo eShop purchases until they expire, which is 12 months from the date that they were earned.
Yeah.
Oh shit, mine have probably already expired.
Yeah. Does not affect platinum points.
Yeah, platinum points are staying, but
Interesting.
like I don't earn platinum point. I think you earn those specifically from going to the website and doing stuff on the website.
I'm hoping that they're about to give us a new shop they're basically going to remove the eShop and they're starting the migration process, but because that would be some bullshit if they got rid of that. That would suck. I mean, that sucks that they are getting rid of it. I'm hoping it comes back in some kind of way because that's really nice. That's really nice of like, I spend however many hundreds of dollars of games and I can get like $10-$20 off of something after so many hundreds of dollars spent.
Yeah, and I mean that was one thing that I was looking at some forums of people talking about it, and a lot of them were saying the same thing that I was saying. Like a lot of them were like, "Oh yeah, that's the reason. That whole point system is the reason why I found a lot of smaller indie developers because a lot of those games are only like what $3 to $5 in the store."
I wonder if they're about to try, if they're doing this and they're going to try to expand their voucher program.
That could be,
because right now the voucher program is basically you spend $100 and you can get whatever games are a part of it. Like the time I was looking at it, both Breath of the Wild, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and like Bayonetta, the Cereza story prequel, whatever the fuck it was called, like $60 games were on there. So you pay $100 and you can basically get $120 in game value.
Yeah, you basically get like $20 off of
essentially, yeah, right,
2 games.
So I'm wondering, because they are still doing that, and they recently updated the voucher website to like kind of ambiguously hint at the Switch 2, I guess, or something like that.
If that
they're
is
updating the wording in the fine print type deal.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're going to expand the voucher program instead of this rewards point thing returned, there's going to be an expansion to that.
See, if that is the reason, that's kind of a shitty move.
It depends on how they expand it, but yeah, as it stands right now, if they're just doing the same thing, I mean,
I wouldn't put it again. I wouldn't put it past them for doing that for that reason. But
right,
like,
if you could spend like $50 on a voucher that could ultimately wind up in like a $5 per game save on indie games or some shit, for up to like 3 to 5 indie games or some shit, maybe it'll work, but I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. That's where I see a lot of the loss going to, is to those indie developers who profited off of that system.
Right.
Not that that was maybe like their main source of income, obviously, but like, again, for people like me and other people who have voiced their opinion on it, they've said that that's how they discovered a lot of smaller games.
Like, as a console, Nintendo's done a really good job of like fostering an indie market, of supporting indie developers, and that goal point was really was a crucial part of creating that environment. And just actually, it's not going to be great for.
It will not be great unless they're introducing something else to take its place.
Yeah,
and that's the only thing we can really hope for.
Like, what other system do you know of where you can play Celeste besides PC?
It was a PC.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain you can play it on PlayStation.
Probably, but does that really come
but it
out?
doesn't really.
You think about doing it there?
No, not really. Like, PlayStation and Xbox have both like really put their indie shit to the side in favor of blockbuster cinema hit, like blockbuster hits and shit.
Have you heard about the next Xbox might be running Steam software?
Really?
I think I heard about that, where they're basic. Like, what I last heard about the next Xbox is that it's basically going to just be a PC.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which, I mean, I've been saying it for fucking years that they need to just focus on their PC shit, because they've basically been doing that. But yeah, it's going to be even one more step closer to PC and running Steam.
Because I mean,
Steam OS or just Steam software on it?
I don't know if it's specified. Some people think it could be Steam OS. Some people think you'll be able to open and play Steam games.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. But like, as far as indie space goes, Nintendo, like, it started with like Xbox was the place to go for indie shit. And like, that's where you, like, the Castle Crasher days was, that was an Xbox thing for the longest time. But now, yeah, Nintendo's the one who's really like stepped up and picked up the indie scene. Obviously, Steam But when it comes to like console and being able to play something on the go, like indie games are so much better for like that on the go, smaller experience. Like Nintendo was the step up. So it would kind of suck if they kneecap their indie scene by doing that. But this is all speculation. We'll see what happens. We do know that the GOAT points are done, which that I had no idea about that. That fucking sucks. But we'll see if they have something else in the works, because I can't imagine they just stop that. But I don't know.
They're removing the cartridge slot in the Switch 3, so they gotta
think that
Did you hear 3? Apple is removing the charging port? They want to take the USB-C out altogether
for wireless charging only.
Yeah,
I heard that too, but I don't know how. I haven't looked into it, but I heard that rumor.
Well, the next phone's not going to be Apple. I hate wireless chargers.
They've gotten
oftentimes they don't
better,
even fucking work.
Right? They've gotten better, definitely. But it's one of those, like, if you need everything on board for that to work out, and also that's the most annoying way.
But that should be the only way to charge it. That sucks ass.
Unless you're about to give me like a very small form factor that just literally pastes on the back of my phone and I can hold it in my hand still, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want that otherwise, because now you're telling me, because most wireless chargers now is like, you're setting your phone down.
Right? like you got to put that in your pocket.
And it's like, you can't do anything with that. You just have to set the motherfucker down, and that's just it until it's done charging.
I mean, unless there's some convenience factor I'm missing, like I did when I first started looking at like the Bluetooth headphones, where like the first time I used a set of Bluetooth headphones, I was like, I'm never going back. Just because like the convenience, the fact that like just when I like took it out of my ear and it stopped playing, that was a moment when I was like, oh, well, I have no reason to go back now. No, I'm never picking up paracorded earbuds again,
right?
Unless this was something like the Switch. But it
was like the first time I mowed the lawn and didn't need to like run a wire through the back of my shirt into my back pocket. Was like I still hated they removed the jack, but I also
because that means that you have no backup option, which sucks.
Which absolutely sucks ass.
But I would rather have the jack back than them take out this.
I don't want you to don't remove my fucking cord experience.
What if they're just gonna like broad range beam the energy into your phone, so like your
if
house,
they could do that,
your house or your car will charge the phone.
Then you have alleviated my problems with this, right?
There's no way they're gonna do that.
They're not doing that, because that requires way more infrastructure than they're gonna fucking put in
infrastructure
place.
And just the energy efficiency of the transfer would just be so. Yeah. Anyways,
right? Like,
we're already killing the planet. We don't need to kill it that much faster by charging our phones like on the equivalent of mosquito energy,
right? Equivalent of mosquito energy. Let me give those bastards a fucking purpose. But we'll see.
It's like I'm gonna power my car by having it be a mosquito chariot. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Pulled by a couple billion mosquitoes.
Oh, I was thinking the mosquitoes get sucked up into the grill and burned for fuel.
That could also work.
You're not wrong. That can also work. The point is that it's infinitesimal and inadequate. All right.
Oh man, yeah. Like initially, I had this in just kind of honorable mentions, because like I played Monument Valley. I think you've not played Monument Valley, right?
Not yet.
So it's like I don't think anybody else has played Monument Valley.
Played the
I've
first
seen
one.
stuff.
You did play the first one.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Like I played them when I think one of the first time I got it off like the Amazon store or some shit, and I had like a bunch of free game downloads to get. So I played the first one, ended up picking up the second one, and really enjoyed both of them. And initially I thought it was just going to be announcing that, and I should have knew fucking better. But at the end of it, they announced another thing that I was like, we should just go on and talk about this then. So.
Monumental adventures await. Embark on peaceful journeys across this series of beautiful puzzle games.
And this game is fucking
Wander
gorgeous.
through isometric worlds filled with stunning landscapes to manipulate, optical illusions to discover, and mystifying secrets to unfold. In Monument Valley, lead the silent Princess Ida in her quest for forgiveness while outsmarting the enigmatic Crow people. A different journey awaits in Monument Valley 2. Guide Ro in her adventure through motherhood as she and her child unlock the secrets of the sacred geometry. Both games contain all their additional chapters, add-ons, and DLC. The first 2 Monument Valley games launch on Nintendo Switch April 15th. Pre-orders begin later today on Nintendo eShop. And help Noor on her journey to restore the world's light in Monument Valley 3.
Then they announced a new
on
one.
Nintendo Switch this summer.
I'll definitely probably be grabbing this and trying it.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. I don't. It's not a lot to say about it. What you saw is kind of what you get, and you don't. It's very much. Its storytelling is very minimal. You're kind of just like piecing together visual stuff as you go along. I don't even think there's any like actual text or dialogue that tells you anything going on. You just kind of piecing it together.
Like I really do.
Yeah. If you've had any interest, I would say definitely go on and get it. Probably as good a time as any to go on and get it for the Switch, since it comes with everything, including DLC and all that. But it's a really fun game, and I was really happy to see it in this Nintendo Direct right before they ended it.
Nice.
Yeah, not a ton to say. Get Monument Valley. It's really fucking good. 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And then the last announcement we got, the final announcement we got.
Hello, I'm Shigeru Miyamoto. Thank you for watching today's Nintendo Direct. Since 2011, Nintendo Direct has delivered Nintendo news directly to you.
I see.
And now, these presentations have grown into an event that many people watch. Thank you all very much. We'll continue to broadcast Nintendo Direct presentations, but we're also launching a new channel based on the concept of delivering information to you directly. This is a smart device app called Nintendo Today, which functions like a daily calendar. In the app, you can view different Nintendo events. We will also be delivering all sorts of content about Nintendo games and characters every day.
Too stuck to pluck.
After the Nintendo Direct for Nintendo Switch 2 on April 2nd, news about Nintendo Switch 2 will be delivered to you daily and directly through the Nintendo Today app as well. Nintendo Today will be available to download on smart devices later today. Anyone with a Nintendo account can use the app, so please try it out. That's all I have to share. I hope you enjoy using Nintendo Today.
So yeah, we have a new news app, and it is in fact available.
Yep.
And the literal first bit of news we got off that bitch was the release date for the Legend of Zelda movie. It'll be coming March 2027. Like, it was just straight up like, yep, March 26, 2027 is when this is dropping. And I think this was the literal next day after the Direct, which would have been nice if they did this Direct on the 25th so that we would have got that this is coming out in 2 years on the 26th, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, oh yeah, they really meant they're just going to drop news for everybody on this app.
And since seeing that, and I've got the app open right now.
Yeah.
I've been checking almost every day to see if there's any interesting new stuff going on, and so far it's been like cute posts of like Kirby power-ups and copy abilities. At least it depends on what games you tell it you're interested in, right? So when you get into the app, you can say, oh, I'm interested in Kirby, Mario, Animal Crossing, Legend of Zelda, and then it will, give you that news from that game or from that series. And it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice. And you can make it like a little widget on your phone. Like I This is the first like actual widget that I put on as my home screen.
Oh wow!
I've never like actually done any customization
so on my home screen.
Fucking nerd.
Yeah, no, this is the first one that I've done
I say that
because
the only widget I have is a regular ass calendar. So
yeah.
So no. And it's not trying to get you to be on it for super long. It's not trying to get you to explore the site. It's just like, here's what you need to know.
And especially since he said that they would be releasing news about the Switch 2 every day on the app. I was like, ooh. So I'm interested to see what that looks like over the next few days.
There are better ways to try and do this than just pointing and eyeing.
I'm sorry. I'm in my child mode. Keanu Reeves is coming back for John Wick 5. Is that what the fuck is it? Is it just the ballerina
clickbait?
shit again?
Is it clickbait?
All right, this is coming to y'all live, hot off the presses.
Is there actually a John Wick 5 versus
Donnie Yen has also signed on for a solo film centering the blind assassin Kane. Though John Wick definitely seemed dead by the end of his last high-stakes adventure, that no longer appears to be the case. During its presentation at this year's CinemaCon, Lionsgate announced that it has greenlit production on yet another John Wick feature that will see Keanu Reeves return to reprise his role as the Baba Yaga. Though Lionsgate has not yet shared any plot details or any other casting announcements, longtime John Wick director, producer Chad Stahelski, and producers Basil Iwanek and Erica Lee are attached to the project. Speaking at CinemaCon about the film, Lionsgate Motion Picture Group head Adam Fogels, giving me names, assured attendees that Reeves, Stahelski,
all these extremely European names,
right, Lee wouldn't sign on unless they had something truly phenomenal and fresh to say with these characters and this world. In addition to the new live-action movie centering John Wick in the present, the larger John Wick brand will continue to grow with an animated prequel starring Reeves that tells the story of how he once completed the impossible task. The franchise's terminology for killing all of one's rivals in a single night. The animated project will be directed by... I didn't know about this at all.
I didn't either.
The animated project will be directed by Shannon Tyndall, Ultraman Rising, and written by Vanessa Taylor, Game of Thrones, The Shape of Water. Game of Thrones and The Shape of Water. Lionsgate has also tapped Donnie Yen to both star in and direct a live-action spinoff built around the blind assassin character Kane, who first appeared in John Wick Chapter 4. Given the way John Wick has been featured in the trailer for Ballerina, it's not entirely surprising to learn that reports of the character's death were a bit exaggerated. But with Reeves returning to headline another John Wick mainline film, it's even more clear now that Lionsgate intends to keep Wick's story going as long as it possibly can.
April Fools!
Oh shit, it is April Fool's Day, isn't it?
Maybe.
Where's
well, yeah, it was posted on April 1st.
It doesn't seem like.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not leading into the absurdity that news articles normally do.
But that's the thing, though. These news articles can post whatever the fuck they want on April 1st, make it sound as realistic as possible, and just say later down the line when they come under fire, it's like, oh, it was posted on April Fool's, so you guys should know.
Right. CinemaCon. Yeah, because it doesn't say
if the news wasn't released on. Well, it's probably fine.
Right. I fucking forgot it's goddamn.
I mean, the animated, there was a couple things that I had not heard about that was announced in that article. So I am skeptical.
They fucking got me.
I'm not surprised about the Kane spinoff. I think I've heard about that.
That sounds really cool to me.
This doesn't seem like April Fool's.
That is extremely exciting.
This is very exciting. I don't think this many different outlets.
They all decided that John Wick 5 was the April Fool's Day thing.
I mean, in fairness, all news is owned by 2 corporations. They could just do that.
Ain't nobody tell MJ's dad.
All right.
Right. But Ballerina, we know, is a thing.
I think we're still just trying to figure out where in the timeline that happens.
Between 3 and 4.
Well, in that article, it said that because you see John Wick in Ballerina, he might not be dead. Which that article is implying that Ballerina takes place after 4.
I just don't think they know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, I don't think I took that wording to mean
is that AI John Wick also
this?
Yeah.
No. This is the chess scene or the tarot scene.
Why does it look like he has been his hair?
Oh, I see.
I think this is just whatever it might be some AI upscaling. I don't know. Anywho, y'all come here for ADHD, and I am now officially ADHD. I have papers to prove it. Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
It's awesome. There's a reason I can't focus on jack shit. And I'll be talking to my doctor soon about possible medication to deal with that.
Good shit.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, Nintendo Today, great news app. I've downloaded it. I've looked over it. They have some little like history of games and characters and shit that you can also get on a daily basis. And who's this character type shit I just looked at a second ago.
Are you able to collect their nude cards?
I wish. We need a Nintendo trading card game. So that
Nintendo TCG.
Nintendo TCG. I'm kind of amazed they haven't. Smash Bros is kind of ripe for it. So
yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much everything from this Nintendo Direct. Some pretty decent what's the word I'm trying to go with? Some pretty decent announcements. Like out of all of this, like I can't be too upset about it. Like
for a random Direct to just drop, you got some pretty nice stuff,
right?
It seems like there's a little bit for everybody too.
It is. There was a little bit for everybody, and that's usually how these go. They try to cover a broad range. Usually, specific games will get like their own specific Direct at about the time it's coming out. But yeah, we'll see. I am hella excited for Rhythm Heaven.
Yep.
This year is gonna go by very quickly. I can't wait for that shit to come out. Prime 4 Beyond. Metroid fans, sound off. I guess Don't try to sell it to me. Like, I'm not gonna ask y'all to sell me a series I've always been lukewarm.
You could try to sell it to me, but I'm so sorry for you. I just to wait that long to get a game that looks that mediocre is I'm sorry.
Yeah. Once again, I'm really hoping that it's just that trailer just just not great and not well put together. But if that's any indicator of what the game's gonna be, that is a little disappointing. So
we'll have to see.
All right. Let's take one last break and then we'll hop into the final segments of this night. Which I think includes the final segment of audiobooks before we go into a hiatus with that.
Yep.
So yeah, be right back. Ooh. All right. Let's wrap this up for the night. This is going to be the last audiobook segment for a little while.
Yeah. If we talk about any other books, it'll be because I read them.
With your eyes?
With my eyes. I know it's crazy.
What?
I also have a vacation coming up and I'll have some long travel between stuff. And so I may read some books in the travel. But yeah. So I have finished out what's available for the audiobook versions of Defiance of the Fall. And I just kind of wanted to wrap up my thoughts on the series after finishing it.
Is it done?
Available, at least it's not done.
It's not done, but it is. He is as current as it's currently out right now.
I see. It's going to be, this book, this series. If it keeps going the way I think it is, it's probably going to be long. All right. I'm talking like if our character's ultimate peak is A grade, I think we are currently at D. So, yeah. And we are 14 books in. So, I just want to give you some perspective. And ultimately, I think the character, if I am grasping what the author's putting down, the destination of this story is probably beyond A grade. But at the level he's at right now, with the information he has access to, that's the highest peak he's seen, right? And so, yeah. Anyways,
so looking at episode like 300 of One Piece, essentially, is over.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, the kind of a story is crafted a lot like a shonen, where the point is that you have an almost never ending story that you can kind of add to. It's a journey that is extensive and lengthy. And it's one of the reasons I actually enjoyed the genre so much. You can shorten that time by having time skips and stuff like that, but it depends on the author and how they're writing it. And I think so far I've really enjoyed the series. A lot of the comments I made earlier still stand. The tension, I think the 14th is probably the weakest book so far. And it's the main reason for that is because about halfway through there's a major military engagement that happens, and they kind of gloss over it from somebody else's perspective.
Of course they do.
And it's something that it's a very rare thing that I've seen from this author, where it basically is big events happen off screen, and then we find out about it from somebody else thinking about the impacts of those events. And so, like,
I can find that being an interesting way of telling a story, but I would not like it if that was the constant way we got told about big events.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting perspective, but it leaves you feeling not having a clear understanding of what exactly happened.
Yeah.
Because when a character is like thinking about the consequences of actions that have happened in reference to people, it's like, okay, so the last thing we knew was we were pushing forward in a military engagement, and then something happens to our MC, and then we cut to a different perspective, and that different perspective is, man, I'm really pissed about this one thing, and then also I'm injured, and a lot of fucking people are dead.
Of course.
And they're in recovery, and it's a perspective that kind of leaves you very confused, and then our main character's perspective isn't clarified a ton. And so
I'm gonna pause you for 1 second. It's nothing to do up there. I'm just looking up, but it reminds me of a book. I cannot think of the title of this book. It's in one of my crates of books right now, but I didn't know. My mom got me the book. I think she just picked it up at like either a sale or something like that. She got me the book, and I knew nothing about the series. It looked interesting on the cover, but apparently it's not the first book. I don't even know at what point in the series this book would have been, but you get in this book, and over the course of reading it, I realized that the fucking protagonist is in a coma. And so this entire book was the side characters around the character doing shit and going about their day and talking about this character being in the coma and him still being in a coma. And it was the most confusing shit. Now, granted, yeah, obviously I'm jumping in the middle of a fucking story, but I don't know why what you were just telling me just like, it made me feel like this is not the main protagonist. We're hearing a lot about shit going on in the world of which this protagonist is just not a part of right now.
Yeah. One of the primary strategies the author uses to de-escalate situations is they'll jump to people whose perspectives and information about what's going on for them will be critical to us, and that we want to know. We check in with the Void Priestesses. But that's also a lore drop, which we usually don't get that way. Like in terms of like what's going on in the broad strokes of things, and not sort of like directly what's going on with our character. And one of the other things I didn't really care for in this book is how our scales start to kind of do this, right? An exponential curve.
Oh, okay.
Where like some of our characters' actions catch the attention of some like real powerhouses in this universe, and the kind of powerhouses that they'll just find you, right? Like you're not really gonna get away from them. And instead of leaving you feeling like tension about what's going to happen, it just kind of has you feeling left at a loss, because one of the big themes that we've seen happen so far is this idea of like fate, right? Which seems to be quantified as luck by the system, but even then it's a little bit more than that. Basically the idea that and I think it's one of the really interesting things that's been explored by this series, and I've wondered why, despite the fact that they continuously try to seem to be pulling this more and more towards like a chosen one narrative, why I've been so okay with that. in this series, and I think it's because fate in this series is much less the consequence of some MacGuffin that you were born with, or the like the some cosmic destiny,
The
that
machinations of a system completely outside of the character's control.
yeah. Well, and in this case, it's kind of is that, right? But it's because our main character is being very clearly used as a pawn
Oh yeah.
by forces that are way beyond his scale, and it's really like it's as much him struggling with and against fate as it is fate acting upon him.
Yeah, it's
right?
just a version of the usual chosen one trope.
Yeah, which I think that I really appreciate, and I kind of realized that when we had some characters that were some like higher ups that were really pissed at our main character because of how his actions affected fate. The actions in question was defending an attack from another person that he's competing with, right? And not killing that person, but basically the fight led to that person's death, right? And because of that, the conflict was sped up or stepped forward, and everybody's blaming RMC for that, right? Even though RMC didn't really have control over that, right? He was just reacting to situations as they occurred, but because he stood up for himself, defended himself, right? He has impacted his own fate and the systems that be in such a way that people aren't happy about, right?
Does it make sense within the story that what you're describing? Because there's been times I've seen that happen in the story, and it's the most upsetting thing or the most aggravating thing, because it's like everyone's treating this person's like, I can't believe you would let this happen. And it's like, what other choice did they have?
It's a little bit A, a little bit of B.
Okay.
Right. It's a little bit of A because they really didn't have any other fucking choice. Right. The other choice they had was like lay down and fucking die. Or try to come up with some other brilliant strategy that RMC doesn't. He's an axe boy.
He chops through the problem.
He chops through the problem. He's gotten good at understanding some things that he normally wouldn't have with the help of his luck and encountering things that have like granted him understanding, but he not that bright.
Right.
And even if he was aware of those strategies, he's somebody who hedges his bets. And the most effective thing to keep you alive is your enemy dead. And so he's gonna go for that. And it's a little bit of B, where like the idea of like fate and destiny and how everything is coming together and these kinds of things, they are like quantifiable forces, right? The people who are basically turn themselves into supercomputers to predict the future, right? Kind of stuff. And so it's a lot more that they're frustrated with how things went and they're taking it out on our MC than it is like there's actually like some legitimate thing going on. But regardless, the effect of his actions are undeniable.
Yeah.
Right. Without him acting in that way, things wouldn't have gone, the way. But if you're truly going to put some blame on somebody, it would be on the person that hunted him down and created the situation in the first place. It's not his fault. But yeah, and even then, like the people that are mad about this stuff aren't like people that are personally valuable to our main character, or their relationships aren't like that. They're lofty idealists who are often more hypocritical than they are, right? Like actually embodying their goals and identity, and so it's something that I think is both interesting and different and kind of like, I don't want to say subversive, because I don't think that's what it's doing. I think it's telling a more interesting story than you normally see with these kinds of parameters.
Okay.
Rather than like intentionally being like, what if we did something different? I think it's just trying to do a good job with these kinds of themes. And something that I've enjoyed with the story is how it wraps itself up in sort of like this idea of like this like cosmic destiny, and like not necessarily the destiny, but the impact that our character has on sort of like the world and how things are going. Because in these stories where you're essentially delving into cosmic truth to gain power, right? Actually seeing our character delve into and have an impact on like these like cosmic truths and have that have a ripple effect on, you know, the way things that happen or are going. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. But the thing that really concerns me is in our character having this battle against like whether or not they're a pawn or whether or not they're actually enacting on their own fate, having these obstacles that are popping up that are monolithic and unapproachable at his current status means that the only way he's gonna get out of them is through some plot armor ass bullshit. It's gonna be through, and having that happen sometimes is fine, but the more it happens to the character, the more it robs the story of tension, of of feeling like our characters actually having an impact on the story and what they're doing.
Yeah.
And instead it turns into you know, I actually don't have a good analogy for it because you're essentially just waiting to see what random bullshit's going to crop up instead of how we're going to solve the problem and how things are going to get out of it.
If you haven't set your story up to be cool character does cool shit, then you're creating a situation. Because like I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, once again, I'm thinking like solo leveling is one of those where like there is no real tension because you know he's going to pull it out.
He doesn't always pull it.
He doesn't whip it out every time. But
he does often.
Quite often. Slime is one of those, there is no real tension, at least when it comes to the fights, because you know he's going to be fine. Rimmer is going to be fine. Gina was going to be fine. The Seventh Prince Lloyd is going to be fine. And not in the because they're the main character kind of way, but because they have shown themselves to outclass literally every threat around them. So if you aren't setting your narrative up in that way, then it seems like it's one of those things you have to kind of take stakes because I keep coming back to like why is it so bothersome in some stories, but other stories make it work so fine. And I think it just really comes down to that setup. And if you're not setting it up in that way, you run the risk of plot armor becoming bullshit. And it sounds like that's what's happening with.
Yeah. Or I shouldn't say this what's happening. It's what I'm scared of.
Oh, okay.
Right. To be very clear, because they've walked a very fine line between plot armor bullshit and our character pulling through, between our character literally like having a value, an astronomical value on their character screen. Their luck is like at this point in the thousands.
Oh, jeez.
Right. Versus them effectively planning, creating opportunities for themselves, taking advantage of their unique benefits and problem solving, doing cool shit. Right. And I think they've done a good job of walking that line so that it's interesting. Things resolve themselves in often unexpected ways. Detriments turn into opportunities in like a fun way that like you might not expect. Like when they got swallowed by a cosmic fish, right? And inside of this cosmic fish, they have a world where they're trying to reap dharmic truths from other people's breakthroughs. And so our main character is able to turn this, you know, imprisonment into an opportunity to strengthen themselves. Right. And so like it's stuff like that.
Okay.
But you know, and like the luck comes in the fact that they encounter things inside of the prison that they're able to take advantage of that, you know, afford them the opportunity to escape where other people would not have that opportunity. Right. And so instead of, you know, somebody swooping in and saving them, they create an opportunity or a situation through their own effort, through a combination of their own effort and their luck in order to pull through. And the actual resolution of that was a little bit more complicated, but I think it was interesting and fun in its own right. But yeah, and so when we're faced by, you know, In this specific situation, we are faced by messengers or like people who have been set by like I'm unclear on whether it's Buddha himself or if it's the person just under Buddha.
The great heavenly Buddha and or his assistant.
But literally, like, the great heavenly Buddha was like, hey, somebody's fucking with fate to one of his subordinates. Go kill this guy. And then we see these people run up against, you know, some pretty powerful people and just wipe the floor with them. And at that point, you're sitting there like, oh shit. You know, if these people come anywhere near our MC, he's toast.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also the MC, and we know he's going to be fine. So, like, what is he just going to get sucked into a fucking wormhole? Is some super, like, is some like super dude going to come out of the sky and like fucking save him? Like, what's like how?
Does his devil fruit powers turn him into a god?
Yeah. Like, and so that leaves me worried about how they're going to resolve that in like an interesting and satisfying way because I realized that I wasn't worried about the tension. I was worried that there was going to be, that they were going to lose the balance in the bullshit because they're teetering. They're teetering, right? The second time somebody shows up and saves your MC from a fight that they barely squeaked by in and were about to lose,
right?
And then somebody shows up and stabs the other guy in the back. The second time that happens in your series, you're on thin ice.
Yeah.
You're on thin ice.
Yeah.
So
you hear that, One Piece? You've been on thin ice. You've been on the thinnest ice.
But yeah. So still though, my overall rating for the series hasn't changed.
Still it was what, 8 to 9?
Yeah.
Out of 10?
8 to 9 out of 10. Really, really been enjoying it. You know, despite the problems that we've discussed as I've gotten into the series, it's still been a really fun ride. It's been really engaging. It's something that I would definitely recommend if you're into action adventure, if you're into cultivation, specifically if you have enjoyed like cultivation series. The cultivation system in Defiance of the Fall is awesome. It's really fun and it incorporates a lot of different ideas. It's very clear to me that the author has done a lot of research on, you know, I'm far from an expert on the different things, but they incorporated a lot of different ideas from Eastern culture to create something that's very interesting, but is still approachable for Western audience. And I am loving the hell out of it. You know, a lot of the stupid bullshit that happens to our main character is stupid bullshit, but it's interesting and it's conceivable that he's problem solved through situations that should have killed him, and he ends up with, like, for instance, when he breaks through, this is super spoilers, when he breaks through into hegemony, when he forms a cosmic core, his body, his two bodies, his life body and his death body that he's been swapping between start to combine.
Because I keep forgetting about his zombie powers.
Yeah, his zombie powers and his life powers start to like fuse into one body, which would kill him. He would, you know, disintegrate or turn into a ball of chaos and die. And so in order to do that, he tries to create a second body for himself and shunt himself into that one. Well, that doesn't fucking work either. And he almost explodes. And at the end of this, barely coming out alive, he ends up split between two cells, right? Where, you know, he's able to turn that into an advantage for himself, but it's a conceivable accident of what's happened. And it shows that the things he's encountering aren't perfect, right? And he's like, something I've wanted for a very long time is when you read stories like this, typically what the main character does is they find the best cultivation system in existence, right? They find the ultimate strategy, and then that carries them through. You don't watch them navigate or explore this very interesting tapestry of like cosmic power or stuff, like create anything for themselves. You don't really see that, right? And that is the complete opposite in this scenario, right? They are forced to forge their own path, right, by necessity, and you see the consequences of that. You see them navigate around those consequences, and it's deeply satisfying and deeply interesting for somebody that enjoys the kinds of things as much as I do. And I, for that reason, I can't recommend that reason alone. I can't recommend the series enough. It is one of the few series where whenever I go to do have a question about something, I find a well-written wiki that covers literally to the point where most of what the wiki is quotes from the books with a chapter reference.
Hell yeah.
It's fuck yeah. It's pretty damn good.
Nice.
I can tell that this series has a lot of community support, and I think that's for a good reason. I think the main reason that the 14th book is weaker than the other ones is because it's primarily in a transitionary period. And the other thing that it's doing is it's grappling with writing a story about war, and not I'm gonna punch the bad guy, but war,
right? Intricacies of
yeah. And so battle, combat, leading an army, the toll that takes on you, the toll that takes on the entire party, right? And it's something that stories that about stuff like this have to grapple with at some point, right? And I think it's one of the telltale signs of how well written the story is whether they do it well or poorly. And I think they're doing a pretty good job of it. But I've been rambling about it for a little bit now, but it's still very, very good. I still highly recommend it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, there you have it. Still giving it an 8.5. We'll call it a solid 8.5 out of 10. I'm glad to hear you're still enjoying it. I know the way between last week and this week, the way it was kind of described, at least particularly last week, kind of almost made it sound like it was dipping, but the fact that it's still holding at a near perfect score is pretty fucking baller.
Because it's not perfect, and there are some elements that the issues that I had with Poppy Project's performance. You have 14 books. You have characters in each and every characters in every book, and out of that, I had 5 voices that I didn't like.
Right?
Come on.
You got to give the guy some slack, right? So yeah, hell yeah. Glad to hear that's pretty good. So that's probably gonna go on hiatus for a little bit. When did book 14 come out?
Book 14 came out, I think, early this year. I don't want to say February.
And what kind of release schedule has it generally been? If you've been keeping an eye on the dates, when will book 15 be coming out?
I don't actually know if we have that one announced yet. I would have to. Can you give me a sec to look at?
Oh yeah, do you think?
It's unclear. I think that right now, it looks like he's trying to get enough of a chapter buffer on Royal Road in order to take what he has, because he probably has enough of a story on Royal Road right now to make a book 15. But he doesn't have a good enough buffer so that if you go to Royal Road, you'll actually get some value.
Fair.
And so it looks like he's probably building up that buffer. And I think that we don't actually have an announcement for either book 15 yet. So it remains to be seen.
Fair enough. I was just out of curiosity. It was when the next book would be coming up, but it sounds like that's a whiles away.
Probably, yeah.
Well, yeah. The other one you had for today was one that I was interested in and am still interested in. That is Mark of the Fool. I don't think we've talked about this in a while.
We haven't. Mark of the Fool, I think February 12th is when the audiobook for the 8th book came out. And the 9th book is currently available in text format, at least on Kindle. And man, it's really good, dude. I don't want to call it better than Defiance of the Fall, because I think it's a fundamentally different kind of story. But it's real fun. And I was reminded again about a lot of the things about this series that I really enjoy. Something that I think I forgot to touch on the last time I was talking about the series that I want to make sure that I highlight before I like go any further into like the 8th book specifically is that how grounded a lot of the magic and like mental stuff in this series is. For instance, most of the techniques described or used in this series to avoid mental duress, deal with emotional trauma, deal with magic mental attacks, are just meditation techniques. Like they literally like they describe our character using meditation techniques to I don't want to say process a panic attack. I think that's not necessarily what the emotional state of the character is, but to deal with very aggressive anger in order to approach a situation with a cool head, to break illusions, to do stuff like that, like and things like breathing, noticing the environment, letting emotions wash over you and pass through you after acknowledging them. And instead of using some like bullshit idea like willpower, and as much as resilience is like real, but like relying on like you somehow being stronger mentally, instead describing like actual like techniques to
mitigate and manage your emotional and mental state.
It's not only is it like really cool to see, it's very down to earth and very grounded. It's well researched. I love it so much.
You don't fix anxiety by going, I'm stronger than my anxiety. You find ways to, we call coping mechanisms, like you find ways to cope and to ground it, like you said, ground yourself, and techniques to like, you don't just go from God, I'm so angry to no, I'm stronger than my anger, therefore I'm no longer angry. You go, God, I'm so angry. What mental methods can I use in this moment, or can I have like, is these things taught to him, or are these things that he just kind of knows when you say these techniques?
Yeah. Well, because of the nature of his mark, he's able to use that to literally practice and perfect the
That's
usage
right.
of those
That's
techniques.
right. Okay.
Because of how his mark reinforces success, he's able to like master, these techniques of meditation in order to assist himself. So it's a little bit of A, a little bit of B.
Okay.
It's like in the world, that's what they're taught. Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's how they're taught. Like, that's how their magic professors teach them. When we see Thundar, one of our supportive characters, is one of the first people to highlight it when they're breaking illusions, because they learned it from their illusion class. And so, yeah, it both is something that he learns and is something that he figures out.
Okay.
It's real hard to talk about the 8th book in any kind of detail without getting to major spoiler territory, which I think I did at the end of my previous discussion on it. So I'm just going to say right off the back, big spoilers all the way down. If you are thinking about reading this series,
which you should be,
normally I would say, who gives a fuck about spoilers, but a lot of the tension of this series is built around some of these mysteries. So I would recommend skipping this. You don't get a choice, but but for a viewer, I would recommend skipping this section and then writing a comment about what you think's going on. So yeah, I don't want to do a countdown or what, but cool. So God's dead,
and we killed him.
Well, we cut back to this book where the end of the last book we found out that God's dead, or at least this God's dead. This is a pluralistic. What's the word for polytheistic sort of world where like gods can arise through faith and worship. of,
Oh,
you know,
right.
even like mortals, rocks.
Wakey.
Right. any
Sorry.
any object with sufficient faith can achieve divinity.
Mm-hmm.
Even like the elements when they're worshipped, they like faith manifests through the objects of worship and then returns powers.
So it's less about divine entities and more about power of faith manifest.
Yeah.
Okay.
But regardless, Oldar is dead. And so we open and we're going through his sanctum. And we find out some stuff about Oldar. Namely that he was poisoned to death. He was somebody who entertained. He was a skilled alchemist. And eventually they discover a secret chamber under his throne where they discovered that he created the Ravener, which is the sort of like big bad in the cycle that they've been thinking. So he actually designed and created the Ravener. But he's dead as fuck, so we don't really know why he did it. We just kind of know that he did it. And so we are left with this fallout. And we're also left with the fallout of the battle that led us to this situation, which means that one, we've had our first like major character death of somebody who's been a significant figure. It's not a part of our core group, but it is somebody who we've been experiencing the story with and come to care about, named Carrie London. And so we deal with the grief of our characters around that, how they try to support the family, the memorial service, the reactions of the parents, all of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's handled very well.
Nice.
But it also means that our main character's secret, the fact that they're the fool, is gonna come out.
Yeah.
After the battle, they were battling against, priests of Oldar. It was fully exposed in front of the army, as well as these priests who ended up escaping in the end, that he is the fool. And so word is going to get back no matter what, which leaves our main character frantically preparing or like wrapping up his preparations in order to make sure that when this comes out,
he's in a
good position.
Okay.
Is it wrong that people know?
Well, I mean, he's essentially, from the perspective of the church, he's a deserter, right?
I was going to say, from what I can tell, he's essentially MIA because he is not fulfilling his role as the fool.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And to be very clear, he's done more for his country in the capacity that he has going to school at this magic than he ever would have done serving the way they want him to. He literally brought a foreign military power to his school. He developed research and weapons with said school in order to combat, like he brought an additional military force that's been aiding, funding, and training the other people that he is supposed to be supporting. And through the knowledge he's gained at the school, he's been further enhancing and supporting the other heroes. He's been far from MIA, but he hasn't submitted himself to the church for their control.
I see.
And so he's not following Oldar's plan, which is bad. So from their perspective, he's essentially a deserter. He's essentially, the same punishment would be owed to him that would be owed to any deserter after he's fulfilled his role. Which, to be very clear, his role in the first place and the expectation to fulfill it is already bullshit, right? The idea that a child has to submit themselves to military service because some god said so is bullshit.
Than what we deal with now, but yeah.
And we also find that Alex's preparations are more than sufficient. And it's a very gratifying moment in the book where because he's been doing all kinds of shit, right? He's been burning himself at both ends. He's been, setting up a golem workshop where he's using the research that he's been developing at Generosity, about the dungeon cores, right? Basically the stuff that he's done in order to bring the military power to his country and the research he's done there. He's also been taking back and creating some like private projects with that he's been selling, right? And so he gets a contract with the local government in order to start doing some supplying of like military arms for them, which is a big get for him.
Oh, yeah.
He's also been doing like softer things like developing a shipping business with some people and developing a bakery, which has also been doing very well.
Isn't that the plot to that one anime that wanted to be slime but wasn't doing as good of a job of it?
Oh yeah, kinda.
Yeah,
a little bit. The one anime that fucking Moonlight.
Yeah, something like that.
I've not been quite as disappointed in an anime as I was with that final season. But anyways, the and so yeah, he's been established. In addition, he's repeatedly protected people's lives in events that have happened at the school, right? He's been developing his reputation. And when he comes before the council, after the king is like, hey, you have our deserter, give him to us. They're like, yeah, we're not going to fucking do that. They're like, it's way more valuable for us to keep this guy around and to make him like us on top of everything else than it would be for us to hand
over to y'all for political circusry.
And not only that, but when they confront the Kingdom of Generosity about this, they're able to peacefully convince the Kingdom of Generosity to let things lie where they are.
Oh, nice.
Which was I didn't think was going to happen. I thought that the secret church was going to pop out and fucking kill everybody in order to get to him or some stupid shit like that. Instead, we end up with like a half-assed attempt at shooting him or not really even shooting him, but causing
making a show of trying to apprehend him.
What military engagement was it where like somebody shot first and then everybody opened fire?
Are you talking about a specific event, or are you talking about the concept of mutually assured destruction?
No, kind of the concept of mutually assured destruction, but there's a specific event in history that I'm remembering where there's a military conflict where there's a standoff on both ends. Nobody's called to fire. But one soldier sort of like loses their wits and lets one loose. And that is a cause for a reaction on both sides to just let lead fly.
Is that the
Helm's Deep?
Maybe. I don't remember the specific name. It's just a story that stuck with me.
I was very bad with history.
It was my least favorite subject.
Helm's Deep is Lord of the Rings. When the old guy like can't hold his bow back anymore, so he lets go and it shoots the orc, and that starts the battle.
You're probably thinking of Helm's Deep.
Yeah, I'm probably thinking of Helm's Deep, guys. No, the
or the don't shoot till you see the white of their eyes.
Something in American
thing.
or European history. What?
Like the don't shoot till you see the white of their eyes. That moment. Or
that's the Battle of Bunker Hill, and I don't think that's what I'm thinking of, because that was about the timing of the military interaction and causing as much damage despite the fact that you're going to lose.
Is that the shot heard round the world? What was that?
I don't remember what that one was.
Man, guys, we know our American history really
was
well.
That the if a tree falls in a forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Now you're just making up shit. Obviously, the tree hears itself fall. But basically, they try to like plants within the kingdom side tried to spuriously claim that there was some vague threat from the Fool, and they fire preemptively, hoping to get a reaction from the other side and ignite a military engagement, right? Which would further deteriorate relations. But
it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Fortunately, cooler heads prevailed. There's a real badass demon that they brought along who just catches all the arrows out of the air with his magic and then makes everybody who shot arrows piss themselves. And not literally, but and they're able to resolve things peacefully. And all you see, you see the relationships and the efforts that our main character has put in throughout the entire book series come to fruition. The friends that he's made, his employees, all come out to support him at the council. The council was never really even going to consider sending him away because of his reputation and the things that he's done. The heroes that he's one by one told and befriended about his secret and aided come to his aid on behalf of the kingdom and are able to convince the king to let our main character Alex be. And I was expecting, all this time we have a subplot where our main character is going to be hunted by a Fey entity who has taken interest in him, right? A Fey entity who's marked our main character and is like, I want to kill you and mount your head on my wall because I think you'd be an interesting quarry.
The fuck, bro?
And he is teamed up with the secret church in order to make this happen. And we don't really know when or how this is going to manifest. I thought what was going to happen was he was going to get kicked out of the city. He's going to flee to the wilderness and he's going to be stuck dodging these bastards, from the church in order to try to finally resolve his mark and then come back stronger than ever. Which if you were looking for a way to ratchet up tension in the most effective way, I think is the choice that you would make as the author.
Right.
But instead, the author chose to give us a payoff on all of our characters' efforts so far and give them meaning, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
I thought it was such a wonderful storytelling moment. It was a really nice subversion of the cynicism that we see without erasing that from the world. They made it very clear that without our main character's efforts, he probably would have just been sent back home, right? The only reason he is in the position he is right now is because of the efforts and how valuable he's made himself to the city. But what he's done is enough, which I really liked. And we kind of leave off this story where he's and we kind of spend the rest of the book setting up the next conflict that we'll see in the book 9, which is hunting down the legacy of the previous fool who tried to change their mark back. We're about to step into that, and they're going to be doing that while running from or avoiding or dealing with this Fey hunter, which I think is going to be so interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. Because it also shows that you can still have that tension without him needing to be absolutely cut off from his support system. And I'm probably, basically for that reason, I'm probably going to be picking up The Mark of the Fool 9 and reading it as soon as possible. Because I can't wait for the next step of the story. It's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I really got to jump on this series. I haven't read anything in a long fucking time, and this has been, every time you describe it, it continuously keeps my interest peaked in a way that I really should just go on and just bite the bullet and grab it.
I don't remember what I rated it before, but if I didn't give it a solid 9.5, then I'm giving it now.
Hell yeah.
It's really, really good. Honestly, I can't find much wrong with it. It's just really, really fun.
Hell yeah.
I really can't. I was just racking my brain to see if I could think of anything that I would want to change or any suggestions that I have in the narrative. But honestly, I really don't. I've loved our main characters. I love their directions. I love their relationships. I loved the conflicts. I love how they're handled in the narrative. I love how the efforts of our main characters treated. I I love the analogies for mental health and how, you know, those processes have been handled. It's simultaneously about a lot of different things. The way it handles the ideas of like coming to age, moving beyond your education into something new, the way it handles the ideas of like growth, the nature of family, friendships, relationships, reciprocity. It's just extremely good.
Hell yeah. Well, that's Mark of the Fool.
Yeah, nice.
At some point, I'm sure we'll probably end up getting a book update once you end up picking up 9 and whatever comes after that. Or maybe I'll have a chance to. I'm not going to even fucking promise that. Let's just not do that. But at some point, I am definitely going to read the series. But
what if I just gifted you the audiobooks? What did you say to that?
I still make no promises.
Fair. I understand very well how that works. Yeah.
Right. But hell yeah, I look forward to hearing about more of this. I do look forward to eventually reading this of my own, and we'll make that happen eventually. So, whew, that was a nice long one.
Yeah.
That is going to be it for us tonight. I'm looking forward to the Switch 2 announcement tomorrow. I know there's going to be a lot for us to talk about, especially for that. Well, no, you won't be here, but probably for me, you, and Izzy to talk about next week. I'm going to try to catch it live. If you happen to be up catching it live, maybe we can hop on a video call and do something. We'll see. So if we do that, maybe you guys will see it when this episode goes out. Maybe not. If you don't, we'll definitely be talking about it sometime next week. But that's what I'm looking forward to. Anything else before we go?
No. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, as always. You be safe on your trip. Have fun.
We'll do. I'm going to get you blasted, guys.
Do it. Get you blasted for the both of us.
Really ugly men. It's going to be great.
Isn't this the family vacation?
No.
Oh, it's not? Oh, okay.
No.
I was about to say, like, I thought this was your family vacation.
No, but the last trip abroad I took, I made out with probably one of the most unattractive men I've ever. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we remember. We talked about it.
Yep. Everybody's like,
we all remember.
No, you don't need to describe that to me again.
You don't have to go over it again. Sick. Where are you going this time?
The Dominican.
Oh, okay.
You definitely told me this, but that is fucking awesome. So have fun in the Dominican Republic. Yeah. The Republic of the Congo. We'll be here just on our lonesome.
Well, when I come back, I'll give a vacation review.
So look forward to that. But yeah, you guys have a fantastic night. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
5 stars.
Join our Patreon. It is only currently $1.
Just one.
And don't know how long it's going to be, but it is until it's not. So get in on the way you can. Big ups to Mike, our original Oh God.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So everybody have a great night.
Stay gay.
Peace.
Bye.
I jack myself off with a vibrating titty.